everybody. Hello and welcome to Lost Caravan RPG. I hope you all are having a wonderful evening because guess what? It is the last day of On the Wild Side week. We've made it and you all have done such a good job supporting this. I can't thank you enough and I will probably thank profusely at the end too. Um, but if you aren't aware, On the Wild Side Week has been in celebration of World Wildlife Day. That was on Sunday, last Sunday. And it is an awareness day that has only existed for about 10 years. Pretty young for an awareness day. And it is to really recognize the threats that our wildlife are facing now, including biodiversity loss, habitat destruction, and climate change. So we have been supporting Rewild and to also recognize that in addition to protecting our wildlife, we also need to protect the people that need protection on this planet. We have also been supporting the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, or the PCRF. All of the information on that is in the link that is in chat. And guess what? We already made our $500 weekly goal. Congratulations, everybody. Those incentives are done. And you know what that means? That means they're stretch goals. And I was thinking about this before stream. If I have a wild challenge for you all. If you can ignore the pun, I have a wild challenge for you all. If you can make that number in that link say 250, I will take a pie to the face. That is the stretch goal. That is what I'm gonna do, and I hope that makes it to the Discord server. I hope people spread that word because I haven't revealed it anywhere. That's what I'm gonna do. You heard it here first, folks. That is the stretch goal. If you can make that number say 250 by the end of this stream, you're $60 of the way there. So you're not too far of a cry away. Let's see if we can make it happen. Wild request. So yeah, in addition to our incentives, we also have a ton of giveaways. For every $10 donated, you get one entry into the giveaway that we will be actually running the raffle for and choosing prize winners by random at the end of stream. We have a whole bunch of things like physical items, mostly Red Wolf conservation, apparel in that regard. Um, I also learned from our TTRPG creators over at Plus One EXP that have donated things is that they aren't going to be PDF copies of these games. They're going to be physical copies. So nice surprise there. There are this month's zine month games as well as Down We Go and some of its adventures. Um, in addition to that, we have some art commissions by the lovely Cyberella that we see on our screen, as well as Nikki Jeske, who does pet portrait commissions, as well as JD. So lots of different things to win. So definitely, if you haven't donated and entered already, go do that. If you're interested in a chance to win. Okay, I think those were most of the housekeeping items. Um, yeah, I think that is most of the housekeeping items. If I remember anything, I will probably say it later. But to introduce myself, hey everybody, I am Sir Heckalot. You know, I'm here, I'm on your screen, and I am going to be your guide for tonight as we play some Monster Care Squad. Of course, I am not here by myself. I'm joined by a group of lovely storytellers and players around the table, and I would love for them to introduce themselves next. So who you are and who you're playing. We'll get into descriptions and stuff once we get into the session, so don't worry too much about that yet. So yeah, let's start with Rise. I'm so sorry. You were the first on the overlay and you were drinking. I'm so sorry.
Hi, I'm Rise. I like water. Um, Tonight I'm going to be playing Tien of Victoria Grassus.
All right, that takes us to. Oh no! Please don't drink too, Cyberella. No, the
Drinking quicker
trend.
though,
It's
I'm fine.
happening.
Hydration. I'm Cyberella Draws, and I'm gonna be playing Lululemon. She, hers all around.
Great. That takes us to Alice.
Hey guys, my name is Alice. Tonight I am going to be playing Fay Day. She, her pronouns. She lives with her best friend and roommate.
And they were
They
roommates.
were
Uh,
roommates.
They were roommates.
And they were
they were
roommates.
oh my god, they were roommates. That takes us over to Zavin.
Hello, I go by Zavin online. I use he, him pronouns. And tonight I'll be playing Wazi, who's a tiny little, quiet library boy who runs around with a massive backpack full of books.
Fantastic. And that takes us to last but certainly not least, Dido.
Hello, I'm Dido. Tonight I am playing plain Jane. Just that. Just plain Jane with a hedgehog.
Oh.
And Jane with the Hedgehog.
We'll see. We'll see. I think you all are pretty extraordinary. I don't think I mentioned this, but I use she, they pronouns. And like I said before, we're playing Monster Care Squad. It is a system written by Sandy Pug Games. Highly recommend checking it out if you like vet-related things. Immediately appealed to me because I'm a vet student. Um, but please definitely look at that. I think, without further ado, we can start our adventure. The Earth has an extensive memory. The dirt we walk on has left us a legacy revealed by only the most powerful forces of nature, from floods to winds to volcanoes. The Canyon of Redolence is fabled to hold the primordial echoes that are able to grant such power, but it will only reveal its secrets to those who truly read the signs of nature. You all are headed to the nearby village of Suncairn, um, to which you're now entering is where the tremors and quakes experienced in this area were reported first. They started small, but now we're growing at a much faster pace. The Monster Care Squad was tasked with getting to the bottom of this, as there have been whispers and suspicions of a disturbance to an ancient being that is dormant below, only recalled by legend. Nobody has even recorded its name. That's where you come in to get to the bottom of this and see if there really is false gold and foul play happening. Yeah, as you all are walking into town, let's go ahead and learn more about what you all look like.
I guess I'll start then. All right, so Lululemon. By the way, anyone on the Lost Caravan Discord, I tossed them all into the art gallery because I drew the characters. So,
And they're so good.
Mhm.
but Lululemon is a fairly tall, curvy lady with yellow, long hair with green at the end. She is always constantly wearing a swimsuit and flip flops, and she carries around with her a potted plant that's just a bunch of cilantro. So that's Lulu, and she's standing next to her roommate.
I mean, what else would they
Sadly.
be?
Oh yeah, I mean they cohabitate, they kiss, and all that. Certainly they're roommates.
Isn't that how roommates work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only explanation.
Yeah, of course she's
Truly.
walking arm in arm with her roommate Faye. Get a hint, Faye.
Look,
Oh,
they're
y'all gonna
they're
kill me.
roommates. They're nothing more. After all, someone like Lulu would not definitely date a mess like Faye, who is probably about 4 to 5 inches shorter. Um, big green, like brown rim glasses. Um, choppy long brown hair. It's always pulled up, and unlike Faye, who is very well put together, I'm sorry, unlike Lulu, who is very well put together, Faye looks like she has picked through whatever clean clothes there were in her hamper that are suitable for outdoor wear, and has probably put on some cargo pants and a t-shirt and her backpack and what looks to probably be some sort of lunch bag.
And 3
Uh,
remain.
I can go next since I'm next in order. Wazi is he's a very short young man, probably somewhere between like 4.5 feet tall. He's smartly dressed. He's got a shirt and tie, like a longer coat, and like I said, he has a massive backpack full of reference books because you never know when you're gonna need to refer to something, right? Like, I mean, it's our job to know stuff. But perched on his backpack is his faithful companion, Hawky the Falcon.
What kind of falcon is he?
The biggest falcon there is. I don't know the exact name, but just the he's
You're a
as
falcon? Something
yes,
like that?
thank you. That was what it was. Yes,
Gear
he's a
falcons.
Gear Falcon.
Um, Jane is probably of average height. Straight, stringy brown hair, thick glasses. She's got just like a green t-shirt on and a green and tan skirt and boots, and the skirt is probably tucked up into the waistband, um, so it's easier to walk and move around. Um, and on her shoulder is perched just the tiniest little hedgehog in a Sherlock Holmes style jacket and hat that Jade made herself. Um, and there may or may not have been a pipe.
Oh my
And she's
god.
got her bag ready to go help some monsters.
So, kind of in contrast to Wazi, Tien is relatively tall, but he is also this gangly, thin, seems to be all limbs. You know, everything is just kind of all over the place. Gangly doesn't begin to cover it, to be perfectly honest. Um, but similarly, he has what seems to be an oversized pack of some kind on his back, although there do seem to be a few extra straps and poles hanging off of his pack um, that don't seem to have any immediate use that you can see, but there they are. His hair is this unruly shock of russet red brown that just kind of pokes almost straight up and is very similar to the color of the marks around his eyes. And he just has this look of not necessarily awe, but as they're walking, he is literally looking everywhere and taking in everything. And he's got his hands stuck into the straps, and he is just constantly loving everything he's seeing. Like, this is all a giant adventure.
Yeah, I think this is not particularly a place that would be familiar to any of you. Sun Karen is kind of this out of the way place now, at least in a more modern age. It's well outpaced by most major cities in terms of engineering. What does stand out with Sun Karen is it certainly still has the most solar panels adorning the roofs of all of these modest buildings. The finest sand and minerals to make these panels were found here first, and now power 100% of the village because of its fortuitous location in a deserty kind of biome. Um, the other prominent feature that I think you all would notice right away is the large number of greenhouses, kind of just containing all sorts of desert plants, from more like delicate things like poppies, asters, and marigolds to the more sturdy succulents of just all shapes and sizes that you can have see through the various windows and everything. Um, as it's pretty easy to tell, I think, with all of your group's makeup that you're not from around here. Nobody is like actively approaching you, but they also don't seem like standoffish or unfriendly. I think they're just going about their days. Um, but yeah, where do you start?
I suppose we probably should start with, or I'll say this as Lulu. Be like, okay, I guess we should go and like talk to like the mayor or whatever is, whoever is actually in charge of the place. Sounds about right, right?
I suppose that makes sense, but I don't know. Like, and he kind of gets distracted for a second looking at one of these solar panel festooned roofs. He's like, oh man, I wonder how well these would work back in Victoria. No, it's too cloudy up in the mountains. I don't know. Oh, wait, yes, Mayor.
It is a fascinating
No,
looking
Alice,
place.
you're muted.
Oh no, there we go. Sorry, I muted
That's
to
okay.
like take a really noisy sip of a drink. Um, do we have a point of contact from our assignment summons?
That is a great question. And you did. The report that you got, or the Monster Care Squad got, that got given to you all, was from the head engineer of the town. There wasn't a lot of details. It looks like this was sent pretty rapidly, which is why you were sent out so quick, as this might be more or less an emergency situation, as these quakes have gotten like larger and larger. But that would be the next place to go. It was Teo, the head engineer.
Okay. That is who I suggested instead of the mayor, Teo.
No worries, no worries.
Mild retcon. um, but I guess we could just ask somebody around here where to find Teo. Anyone want to take lead on that, or?
Um,
Okay, I guess I'm doing it.
no, I'll do it. I'll do it. I had to look at my thing.
I just thought everyone was just standing there being like,
We're all just looking at
I
Lulu.
heard Kaido start to say something, so I was like,
Jane, like the nearest person, just kind of like taps him, probably on the arm and not the shoulder. She probably can't reach. Just to get their attention.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. You all seem maybe a little bit lost. And like you found probably this kind of taller woman with this like almost overalls, like more like coveralls. I think coveralls would be a better word for this. Definitely with some dirt. It looks like she's probably been working in one of the greenhouses. Yeah, she looks down here. You all seem lost. Do you need anything?
Yeah, we are a little bit lost. We were sent here to check out the earthquakes that have been happening. We are supposed to meet with Teo.
Oh, yeah, you must be the Monster Care Squad, right?
Yeah, that's us.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy to have you here. These
Caring for the monsters near
quakes.
you.
Yeah. That's a good catchphrase. I like that. We've never had a Monster Care Squad out here before, so this is kind of a big deal for everybody. If you're looking for Teo, he's probably going to be over on the construction site, more towards the edge of town. She'll kind of direct you through the couple of streets to be able to get there.
Thank you so
Construction
much.
site? What are you guys
I'm
building?
sorry, what was that?
What are you guys building?
We're making another greenhouse. We need something that's like a little bigger for the really tall saguaros, because some of them are getting, well, just a little too large for where they're at right now.
Okay. Some interesting math and the structural integrity, and he just
Lulu's gonna just grab him by the pack and be like, all right, thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Kind of
Good
in a
luck.
hurry, Tien. I'll also grab, as she walks, she'll grab Faye's hand.
She's very good. Just grabs like all of the people. It'll be a chain at some point.
There's a definitive boss.
Yeah. With Faye, it's not a unlike Tien where it's like, we gotta go, man. This is oh, nope, Gotta remember the girlfriend or roommate, I guess. Can't forget that.
Faye thinks they've just been living together for like 2 years.
Yeah,
Lulu
not
thinks they've been
serious at
dating
all.
that entire time.
Just been
Absolutely.
doing roommate stuff that whole time.
Yeah, roommate stuff.
Great
Yeah.
stuff. You know. Yeah, if you all are heading towards the construction site, like the woman told you, it looks like a really large greenhouse is being built here. There are, yeah, just various support beams and, different construction materials just kind of placed out. But you would notice a kind of like large tent with all these like different tables that have like schematics and blueprints and all kinds of things at it. And sitting there is a man in a construction hat and like all of the all the safety gear. Has this like really like big like brown mustache. And is just kind of looking over the schematics. Y'all are a little further away.
Well,
Oh,
I
hey,
guess
you think that's the guy?
I'll be the one to ask this time. So I'll hike up my pack a bit and walk over. Excuse me, are you the head engineer Teo around here?
Oh yeah, that's me. By the looks of it, you all are not from around here. Are you the Monster Care Squad?
Yeah, that's us. We're the ones who were sent to help you guys out with your quake problems, I believe.
Oh, we could certainly use the help. We didn't think it was too serious at the beginning. It was just a little tremors. It happens every now and then. Um, but he just kind of like points back to a certain part of the construction site where there is this big support beam in two pieces, just kind of lying like further away from everything. Um, we were in the middle of putting that up about 2 days ago. There was this massive quake, like we haven't seen that ever or experienced that ever. And luckily, nobody got hurt as this thing broke before we could secure it. But this is getting really dangerous, and I think my crew is getting pretty shaken up.
The thing just snapped?
Well, there was a quake before, and if we had actually been able to set it up and secure it before it happened, it would have been fine, I think. I hope. At least according to my calculations, and just kind of points at all of the stuff that's on this table. It's kind of a mess. Uh, but it was just horrible timing.
Hmm. Maybe Tian's going to start wandering over towards the broken support beam to look at it. Yeah.
I'll probably join him in that, heading over to the support beam.
I'll keep talking to Teo then. So, when about did these? Sorry, when about did these earthquakes start? Like these tremors start?
The tremors. I think we were really starting to notice them about a week ago. But yeah, it started getting really serious. I'd say about 2 days ago, and now my crew doesn't want to try to do any of these bigger tasks anymore. Not until this gets solved. Because we had a close call, and we don't want to risk that even with the right equipment and everything.
Oh yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Were there any significant events before the earthquakes started? Or about the
I can
same time?
recall. I mean, I think this is more because the tremors started happening, but he he kind of points to like now like the far edge of the construction site, like a couple feet away from like kind of that perimeter, is this old woman that's just standing there, and she's facing like out like away from y'all and towards the direction the canyon would be in. Like when the tremors started, she started um, staring out into the canyon. My crew, like a couple of my crew, identified her as Amalthea. She's some traditional healer or something. I don't know. I think that's more because the tremor started happening. more than her causing them. I would certainly hope not, but I guess you never know. Um, and while y'all are having this conversation, um, let's see, who's still under this tent? Um, it's Lulu, Faye, and Jane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Faye, you feel this little like sniffing sensations, like something like sniffing like your hand or your skin. And you look down to see this little ferret that is also wearing construction safety gear. He's
Oh
got
my
like a little like
god.
hat and it's like putting his ears down a little bit and he's got a little vest on him. And he looks like he's making a beeline to like see what's in your pockets.
Do I know what kind of is this like an actual monster or does it seem to be like someone's companion
Oh,
animal?
this looks like a companion. Like this looks like an
Before I
animal.
before I start trying to like talk to it.
It's like, and Teo will take notice of this and say, "Ruckus, we we talked about your manners. Why?" He's like kind of trying to control this little thing. He's this little fur snake, basically. They're very wiggly. If you've never handled a ferret, like it's very hard to control them. And he just the snake out and is like going back at you.
Oh, is he yours by any chance?
Yeah, this is Ruckus. He's mine. And as ironic as it is to have a ferret called Ruckus and be, an engineer and a construction worker, it fits. He's a little chaos gremlin,
Oh,
but I love him.
he is perfectly lovely. Is I mean, I would hate to interrupt his work, but is he allowed to have treats?
Oh, please.
And then I'd kind of just like rifle through my pockets to see what snacks I have on me that are probably animal appropriate. And I'm
Oh
sure like
yeah.
there's like a granola bar or something that I've split up for him.
Yes, to which he happily, absolutely happily obliges. Um Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at this group for a second and head over to Tien and how do you pronounce your character's name, Zavin again?
Wazi.
Wazi. Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Let's head over to y'all. Y'all were going to the split support beam.
Mhm.
Yeah, what would you like to look at?
So Tien wants to look at like where the actual thing broke, like to see if there's any indications like did something hit it and cause it to break, or did it like fall on something, or did it like basically he's looking at the actual break itself to see if he can't figure out whether this was a shear break, if there was a twisting, if there was any of these structural things that could have caused it. Maybe if there was a weak spot or
Okay. Yeah, how about you give me a acuity roll? First roll in the game.
all right. So that's 2d6, right?
Yep. Plus whatever your acuity is.
Okay. That is a 10.
Okay. Yeah. So, being kind of like this same like engineering mind, being curious about how things work. This doesn't look like there was like necessarily a twisting or a splitting. This looks more like when this quake happened. Um, it was maybe a little too top heavy, whatever position it might have been in, and caused more of like a compression kind of fracturing. So not necessarily sheer. This is like it's more of this kind of like stony material. So it's prone to crumble a little
Mm.
bit. Um, it's not necessarily metal. Which is interesting. It's probably supposed to be a combination of decorative and also sturdy structuring.
Okay. And he's kind of knelt down by this, and he's like pointing this out to Wazi, and he's like, "Look at this. You see, like it actually like crumbled on this side. You can see it kind of pulled away on this side. So definitely, it looks like it was more of a weight imbalance kind of thing rather than nothing struck it or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that had to have been some real shaking. to make that happen, you know?
Well, this is your area of expertise. I'm like scribbling things down in a little notebook to refer to later if need be.
Yeah, is there anything that you would like to look at in particular as well?
Uh, I don't think so, no, because like I said, this isn't really Wazi's area. He came over to like see if he could help at all, and I don't know if there's anything that's really in his wheelhouse currently.
For sure. Yeah. Are you trying to like move any like rubble or pieces or like tinker with it at all? And either two of you?
Not so much. He
Okay.
kind of wanted to look at it in situ rather than moving things around. After he kind of figures out, he might move like a couple of the pieces, like maybe like if it was, if it's stone like and it fractured and there are like chips and chunks and stuff like that on the ends, he might kind of take a look and move some of those around a little bit just to get a better look. Maybe pocket a couple pieces.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say, and since you rolled a 10, I'm not gonna make you re-roll this. But kind of as the two of you are like looking through things, you notice that there are a couple of these pieces that have like, just like bits and pieces. And you wish that it wasn't like so like fractured or broken, because it looks like like halves and quarters and like just little fractions of fossils inside uh, this stone.
Oh, wow. Uh, should they be using this stone?
Can I try and get a sense of like what those fossils might be, or like any sort of information I can glean from them at all?
Ooh, now this sounds like an acuity.
Okay. What is my cutie? My cutie is +1, so.
Yeah, like if any of you think that whatever like trainings or backgrounds you've taken in something apply, just please let me know. Um, like for
Uh,
example, like any like studying or anything like that. Just let me know.
hmm. I don't know if my acuity study would apply here because I have
Yeah, I don't think
behavior.
it would. But yeah, just for reference, because I know I forget stuff like
Mhm.
that.
So would this just be like a flat acuity roll to
Yep, just
like
flat
invest?
acuity.
Okay. Is 10.
Okay. Yeah, going through a couple of these, it looks pretty mixed. There are like little pieces of like what might be like leaf imprints of different kinds. There might be like a single like digit of maybe a paw print or something. Like it's pretty like fragmented, so it's just generally a mix, and it's kind of hard to tell like what a general source might be.
Hmm. Well, looking at this, just kind of seems like they took bits of stone to make this pillar. I'm not sure if this has any structural like imbalances because of the fossils.
I mean, fossils are, they're pretty much stone, right?
More or less, I believe so. It's a
It's
historical
kind of
shame,
crazy
but
that
I don't think there's any real issues with them.
and he's holding one piece and he'll kind of start walking back towards the others. And yeah, it's just kind of neat to have so many of these little things in one area. Like, I wonder where they came from.
Hmm.
Okay. So are you rejoining the tent? Is there anything
Mhm.
else you'd like to look at?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So now that y'all are together, yeah, Tara was just kind of continuing to talk about how this has been very hard for his crew to kind of come to any sort of agreement on continuing to work. Um, and that this needs to be solved as soon as possible if you can.
So Teo, tell me, is this you guys are thinking this is going to be like multiple monsters or like one really big one? Because I mean, we do handle, of course, multiple, but when you actually get to like some of the smaller species, they do when they run in packs. And Faye will just keep continuing on, just like spieling into like this half information until someone stops her. She won't even
Like,
let like Teo answer the question right away.
I know
which will
he has
be
this blank
Lulu.
face. He's just like,
Lulu will gently put a hand on her shoulder and be like, Yes. Do you think that it's a possibility of multiple monsters, or is there like one large monster that you're aware of, like old tales of?
I mean, it's not super my wheelhouse. I don't super believe in those kinds of things. I know there are a couple people around town that have been talking about this one like huge nameless thing that used to walk this earth a countless amount of years ago.
Is there a
It
chance
seems
that Amalthea over there might know?
maybe I've never talked to her. We've just been trying to make sure she doesn't wander onto the site and be in any danger.
Speaking of
Okay.
really old stuff, did you know that your stonework is like riddled with fossils and imprints and things like that?
Really, I didn't actually. What?
He all but shoves it under the dude's face. Like, check this out, man.
What?
Like, it's like, see, look right there. That looks like the imprint. And I think that's is it some kind of I don't know, something snail-like or something like that, maybe. But yeah, and you might be careful trying to use the stone that you get from wherever you got that from, because if there's all these fossils and stuff in there, that might make inclusions and make it weak and snap.
Yeah, the structural integrity. That's really strange. We haven't noticed anything like this.
Where did
Um,
you get the stone from?
from the quarry, it's pretty far away from the canyon. Like we don't try to go over there and mess with anything, because that's where you would more or less expect the fossils to be, where all the life and everything is. I guess things can end up in odd places. Um, thanks for bringing this to our attention. Can't believe we didn't
Yeah.
see any of this on was it on the outside? Was it?
It was more like inside that chunk, the pillar you had there.
Hmm. Good to know. We'll keep looking around then. Thank you though.
Well, I think I'm gonna go talk to Amalthea then.
Jane will go with Lulu. She is interested in this lady.
Okay.
Faye's probably already halfway there the moment that Teo started talking about this is the person that probably knows, even though that's exactly not what he said.
I make a comment to Jade as we're walking along, being like, we're really good at our jobs. We're really bad at talking to people as a
Listen,
whole.
That's because we're good
it-
with the animals. That's why we're good at our jobs. It's the people that
Right.
are hard.
True.
Well, that's true. I am better at talking with plants than I am with people for the most part, as I have. Uh, by the way, for people, my plant name is Gerard. Gerard the cilantro plant.
We
Just
love
carrying around
him.
with me.
I mean, I have some
Yeah.
of my best conversations with Pickles.
I mean, I'm not
That
sure
is
what
the name of my hedgehog.
I'm not sure what the issue is with either of you. I talk to people just fine. It's not my fault that they don't really talk back when I'm talking. Especially like if it's stuff that's really important, like the monsters and some of the weirder stuff that I get into. That Lulu, you are the sweetest that put up with it every night when I have to go into detail about what I did at work.
That is
Which this
because
is
you are
also
incredibly adorable, and I don't mind listening to you, but sometimes you need to pause for a second and breathe. I worry for you. Remember that one time you passed out because you were talking about the greater mating habits of Zorns?
because they were very important. After all, if we don't actually talk about these sort of things, people aren't going to know about these sort of things. And if they don't know about it, that's how we have issues with their mating habits and how they go without population. That's how we have reduced population of the Zorns. And
Yeah, and in complete contrast to, Teo just kind of like having like the perpetual like loading screen on his face while you were going on this. The old woman Amalthea is just standing still facing away from y'all. Like it's you've been loud enough that anybody that is listening would obviously know you're there. She just continues to stand in silence, just looking towards the way of the canyon. Doesn't seem to acknowledge you at all. but you can tell that she has these long gray braids that are going down her back.
Excuse me, Amalthea?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Lululemon. And this is my girlfriend Fayday and my friend Jane. And we're here as the Monster Care Squad, and we want to ask you some questions about the tremors that have happened.
Oh, there's a lot to learn, I suppose. There's a lot that's been going on in this town. What would you like to know?
Well, we are trying to figure out what could be potentially the cause of these quakes. Is it, along the lines of whether it's multiple monsters or like a singular monster? And you're standing here looking very stoically into the canyon, which kind of gives me the feeling that you might have an inkling of what is going on.
I certainly do. And these there's this recognition in like one large thing versus a bunch of small things. Um, and this kind of these wise wrinkles that she has on her face from just years of smiles and laughter just kind of light up as someone's wanting to talk to her about this. It seems that this is a little new. um, yeah, they don't, those in the village of Suncare don't super want to listen to, old fairy tales and legends, and you know um, they live a lot faster than the old times. I've been here the longest in this village out of everybody, but imagine getting the respect for that. Uh, how do you think this is one large creature? I've gone to that canyon many times in my youth, and I actually have been contacted by that being. As crazy as anybody wants to call me, that is something that happened.
What?
I see.
When it contacted you, like what? How did it contact you?
Well, you have to sit still and you have to listen to it. You can feel it in the earth, you can hear it in the wind. You just have to
So,
listen.
not like specific words or ideas, more like just general feelings, a
Yes,
vibe.
exactly. Words that are not necessarily heard but are felt. This one, Lulu gets it.
And what was it like projecting out to you then? What's the vibe it was giving you?
Well, it was long ago. I mean, years and years ago. It was at peace. It was sleeping at rest. And something out there is causing it to wake up. It's disturbing its sleep. And I don't think it's happy about it. I've heard these groans of pain far below the earth, and I think that's what's causing those tremors.
Okay. Um, do you know of any big events that happened about a week ago? Teo said that there was nothing that came to his mind as to what, if anything could potentially have stirred this creature then.
Hmm. Say it's been a long time since I've gone more out towards the canyon. So you'd probably have to go there to, you know, learn more about the immediate problem. Um, I think I don't know if it's just my eyes, not being what they used to be, or there actually is something going on. But some of this ground, every once in a while, there'll just be these different patches that just feel a little bit, or look a little bit shinier.
Like all over town, or just in certain areas?
Um, More towards the direction of the canyon. I haven't seen it anywhere on the other side of town.
Maybe kind of like not necessarily a footprint, but like
like a
Essence?
deposit. More like a deposit of just I don't really want to call it a mineral. It seems more hmm, I guess yeah, it's a little crystalline, but very, very, very small. It doesn't seem to stay for very long. I'll go the next day and it'll be gone.
So, did you get to see the ornamental at all? Can you describe it for us? Anything that might help us potentially figure out what it is? Because I mean, if there's only one of them, there is c- concern about if it's the last one, if it needs to be relocated to a pack that might exist in some sort of sanctuary that might be elsewhere on the planet, or
Oh, I like your spunk. She's absolutely treating all of you like grandchildren. It's just like an expressions and kind of showing interest in what you all have to say. Um, I think this is a one of a kind of creature.
Well, I mean, that is exciting. Um, though I guess figuring out how to let it rest easy would be our kind of top priority at the moment.
I think so. I can't even imagine what necessarily will happen if it does completely wake up and more or less erupt from wherever it is currently sleeping. And I assume it's sleeping very, very far beneath this canyon. Um, I don't think it would just be Suncairn that would be in danger at that point. I think it could be a much larger threat.
Well, is there anyone who goes? Do you know of anyone who goes into the canyon more regularly since you said you haven't been in there for a while? Like, not really?
Oh, no, it's not somewhere that a lot of people go anymore. It's since it hasn't necessarily been the friendliest place to have lots of people in it. Nobody really goes anymore.
Okay. Well, I think we should go gather the guys, addressing my two friends. I guess we should go gather the guys and head into a canyon?
I think so. I mean, if it's making sounds of pain, like we want to make sure it's not in pain and it can keep sleeping in its own home.
I mean, to be fair, we might also need to just determine if it's possibly waking up from like a prolonged hibernation. After all, you do have like box turtles, which you do bury in the winter and then wake up in spring, and this just might be its spring. So it might just be something we need to figure out, especially if there's only one of them left.
Hmm. I mean, it's gonna be a really large box turtle. That might be
Yeah.
the problem. Thank you, by the way, for answering our questions.
Of course, I best of luck to you all. I again, if you truly listen to what the canyon and everything in it has to say, I think you all will have just the best of luck.
About how far away from the canyon are we right now?
A good, probably about 50-ish miles.
And can you feel the changes here where you are right now?
There's nothing happening right now. That's why I just sit and wait. People think it's really weird, but somebody has to keep watch if anything serious happens. Somebody has to warn them because they won't.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you again. Let's go get the guys, and so I'll trudge on over to the guys who I assume are still looking at rocks.
At this point, Tien is looking at the various schematics and stuff laid out around here and these designs and stuff, and he's making comments, which probably is not usually welcome. If you did
No.
this instead of that, maybe if you move this a couple inches, you might get a little more stability and just
Was yeah, Wazi's
nerding
there
all
is
over it.
Wazzy is there as well, but he's not chipping in because he's just like, I don't really know what I can say to contribute to this, but I just want to be somewhere.
Aw. Lulu, okay, yeah, Lulu's gonna show up and be like to Teo, be like, I'm gonna save you now. And just be like, all right, let's go, guys.
Oh, hi, Lulu!
Grab.
I
Okay.
think your backpack just
So
has a handle specifically for Lulu to be like, she installed it herself. She can drag you away.
well, great. So it sounds like you all are looking to go to the canyon. Is there any type of preparation you would like to do before you leave Suncairn?
We should probably get some climbing gear or spelunking gear.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
probably need
Tian has
appropriate
some,
stuff.
but we should probably all have some.
Yeah. I think just the kind of general, like, getting more stuff, because I assume it took us a while to get here. So we probably need to just get the equivalent of, like, restocking for our trip into the canyon. And
Mm-hmm.
I would
Water.
like to, yeah. I guess the question, heck, is did we come in with, like, our own transportation? Did we have to come in on foot? Was this like a bus situation? We rode a bus over here?
You probably got dropped off here. But if you do ask around, you could probably convince somebody to uh procure transportation for you. There are a bunch of like little like solar powered vehicles and stuff like that.
That's so much
Um,
fun. I want those.
yeah. It's like if
Solar
you ask
powered
anybody
ATV.
for yeah, I will say you will be met with more resistance if you ask for anything like horses or like animals to take out there. They're probably like more keen to lend you all vehicles.
I am
I'm
fine with
100% down for that.
yeah, solar power vehicles are fine. I guess while everyone else does the collecting the materials we need, I'll go get the vehicles.
Okay.
Is it possible to get maps of like the caverns and valleys and everything that maybe like a cartographer has or something?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, I will say like how about everybody looking for supplies? Go ahead and roll me some acuity.
9.
Okay.
3.
Nice.
So that's 2d6, and is the plus an extra dice or just
Plus like whatever the number, so
okay?
like a +1.
That's a 6.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So yeah, you all have kind of a hard time finding. I will say like you do manage to find some like climbing and spelunking gear, but probably not enough for all of you. Because it's been a while since anybody's actually like tried to go out there or at least regularly. Um but yeah, in terms of that, little rough. I will say that you managed to find transportation, but is like a golf cart. So y'all might have to crunch a little bit to be able
Oh,
to
sorry.
make
I
it.
should have rolled. I should have rolled for my acuity
Oh,
with I didn't roll for mine
oh, no worries,
for
no
looking
worries.
for the vehicles. So let me do that. I got acuity. Sorry, that's a +1 to
No
it. I
worries.
got an 11.
Okay, much better. Okay, so you get step up from that. Something that's a
Yeah.
little bit more comfortable for you all to sit in. Um, and
I move up from golf cart to one of those those like carts that they use in like Disneyland and things like
oh,
Disney
the
World
little
and things
Shuttle
like
cart?
that.
yeah.
Like with the
Yeah, shuttle
flatbeds.
cart. Yeah, just kind of one of those things.
I love that. That's perfect. Um, and for Faye, I will say you do get a map, but it's more like a tourist map. There's not really like a lot of detail other
Mm-hmm.
than just like very like general like what it is. But I will say from at least that you do know like a little bit about the canyons, like cursory history. You know, it's kind of fabled that it is a place that everybody remembers, even if they haven't been there before. It's an interesting phenomenon that happens when you actually go into the canyon. And that there is a river that runs through it called the Cobalt Anchor. So there is stuff you learn from it, but it's very general. There's not really like a lot of geological detail
Got like the
or
scenic overlooks and the paved
yeah, exactly.
trails
Yeah, it's
and
not
There's
necessarily what you're looking for.
in the corner is a very large picture of a mascotish like gopher with like a hat on.
I love
It's
that.
it's like a Bucky's.
Yeah, they're just like these weird like mascots, and you know how like Rainforest Cafe has like a ton of them, like just a whole cast of them. It's like that. So yeah, not the most helpful, but you glean at least a little bit of information. Um, but okay. Is there anything anyone else is looking to find or talk to anybody, or are you ready to go?
I was wondering if I could look for like if there's any kind of like listing of like species that would live in the canyon, like even just it's just like a general like small list of like maybe groups of species or just like
Yeah,
groups in general.
I actually won't have you roll for that because I feel like just with all of your reference and stuff, and like I'll kind of add that together with your pack rat move there.
Okay.
Is you would have a field guide on that.
Okay. Should I take away one prep for that then?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay. All right.
Looking at chat begins having Bucky's flashbacks. Oh no, what have we done?
he's
Oh.
going beaver nuggets really bad.
All I ever do is good things.
My god.
I don't know why anyone lets me be in their games. It's just a terrible idea.
You're a treasure.
No, we love
Why
this.
won't any of you people ever learn? Don't put me in your game.
We love the
Well,
energy.
Put you in more games is what I'm hearing.
Yes. All the games.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think without further ado then, y'all are ready to go towards the canyon. I won't belabor going like 50 miles in a cart unless you all want to like say anything to each other or talk about anything. Absolutely free to do that.
I
Are
think
you just
I think Jane would fill Wazi and Tian in on what we learned about contact with the monsters, more of like a state of being and a state of mind than like an actual physical representation.
It operates via vibe check.
Vibe check, yes.
This is very good.
I don't know of many monsters that operate via vibe check, but this will be a great time to learn about them.
I was about to go into like a long tangent of making stuff up, but I will just say like Faye just every time like something like that drops, just starts going into like this really long, detailed dump of information that doesn't actually mean anything.
Like when someone expresses that they don't really know about something monster related.
No, Faye knows, like she has an encyclopedic knowledge of monsters.
Okay.
She is not good at talking about it though. So it probably starts off, okay, well, I mean, there are several monsters that actually do have echolocation. And I mean, vibes technically are similar to that, I guess, on a metaphysical level. So, I mean, there's always monsters that could deal with that kind of stuff. Specifically, like, I guess that are sensitive or empathic. And I mean, the nice lady from the construction site was very detailed on the fact that this might be the only monster of this kind. I'm not entirely sure that's correct. It might just be another monster that is new to this area and is just mainly located somewhere else, because I mean people bring animals into the wrong environments all the time.
Jane
And
all those Tian.
I am listening with rapt attention and writing down as much as I can.
Lulu is driving.
Yes, the steering wheel.
Lulu's driving, Tian's falling asleep.
I mean, if you really want details on that, they have actually had me submit multiple papers on similar topics, and I'm sure we could find something that's just a little bit related to this. I don't have any on me at the moment. I'll be very honest, it's a little hard to keep up with details sometimes, and it just kind of goes on like that.
Yeah, I will say that once you probably see the canyon coming into view, that I think all words just kind of stop between the group. Just on top of these cliffs, or sorry, wrong paragraph. I have my notes. Even from a distance, the colossal size of this canyon becomes apparent. It spans probably hundreds of miles in length, and it hardly bends. Several miles as well as deep, this solid earth is carved almost like a slab of the softest chalk. A river by the name of the Cobalt Anchor, as you learned, thunders below like the unyielding march of all who have traversed through the canyon before. There doesn't appear to be a safe way, at least from this distance, to reach the floor of the canyon at first glance.
Oh, that
Well,
is a lot of water.
I like it.
It's
oh,
really
I like it
beautiful.
too.
Yeah, it's just an incessant roar.
That
We
is so
remember to.
pretty.
It is just like you, Lou. But did we
Aw.
remember to pack like any rafts by any chance? I did not think we'd have to pack rafts.
I can use Pack Rat to get us one. I can spend a prep. I I reach into my backpack and pull out like a somehow very small collapsible raft that can open to presumably fit 5 people in it.
This is incredible. That is a very good use of that. I love that. Y'all are still at the top though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
So
little bit.
you have it though.
Yeah, I have it. I have not unfolded it.
Just slide down. That
We're
would
gonna
not work.
we're gonna Indiana Jones to this.
Oh
Oh my
my
god, it's a
god.
terrible idea. And that's how we broke all of our bones in our bodies.
I mean, y'all
That's how we
are
speak brain
welcome to
damage.
try anything, but
Did you
there
know if you
might be
fall from a
varying
certain
results.
Did you know if you fall from a certain height, water's just concrete?
It's
We're
yes.
about to find out.
Oh my,
Let's
you,
not do that. But this is why, Wazzy is always incredibly, good to have around. Tien,
Yes.
could you be a deer and see if you can find a path down?
Sure. Let's take a look around. And he is literally going to run towards the edge of the canyon and jump.
Be
Uh,
safe.
And he's going to reach up, yank on a cord, and the sides of that big oversized bag open up and it folds out into these two lightweight, like leather and canvas wings that just pop out the side, and he just starts gliding around looking for the best way to get other people.
that's awesome. I low key forgot you had that. That's incredible. It was a surprise for me too. That's great. We talked about this.
Yeah,
But
go
that
us. We
listen,
surprised the GM.
I have the memory and the attention span of a goldfish sometimes, so this was great. I love this. Okay, yeah, so you're gliding around the top of this, and like, yeah, this river is huge. It doesn't take up the entire width of the canyon. There's, some space in between. But if you did want to actually go on it, you would definitely need like some type of protection, like a raft. Um, but yeah, as you're kind of looking around, um, I have a question for Tien. What kind of plants or like floras are specific to where you're from, and what do they smell like?
Wait, so he's originally from Victoria Grasses, which is kind of in the middle of all these like mountains, like almost like an alpine
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So pines are like everywhere. Pines and firs and all these kind of things, and you've got the kind of thing that would grow in and around that, snowberries and um, a lot of the kind of things that we'd find here in the Rocky Mountains as well. Huckleberries, definitely huge, very very northern high climate kind of stuff. But as far as like smells go, pine is the thing because it's
Absolutely.
everywhere and everybody knows just how overpowering the smell of
Oh
pine
yeah.
forests
Hmm.
are.
And that is why it immediately catches your attention that you smell pine here. As you're
Yeah,
kind of gliding around. Do you follow that scent at all?
I mean, he absolutely would because he is easily distracted.
Yeah, as you follow that, um, kind of what's revealed to you is this series of trees and shrubs kind of like making as much purchase as they can on this canyon wall, kind of going the length down. And the conformation of these trees, none of which are pine, by the way, you're not sure where that came from, but these purchased shrubs and trees have kind of made their anchor on this canyon wall, and you think that you could probably use the setup of tools that you all you managed to find to make some type of way down with those.
Yeah, so he'll, kind of give a nice long bank and come in and kind of backflap a little bit to kind of find himself a landing spot inside these trees, grab hold of a branch here and stuff like that, and look around and kind of try to yell up at the others, see if he can't get them to come over towards that spot at
Like
the top.
you probably saw you all probably saw him like go down and then just like a yell up.
Hello, Jane.
Hello, hello.
He does.
Are
He does realize it's hard to hear him over the waterfall, right?
He probably doesn't, to be perfectly
It's like
honest.
right there. Okay, well, I'm going to assume that Tien kind of found a way to get down over that way, so I guess we should head over that way then. So I suppose I'll lead.
I think as Tien was jumping off and Jane was getting out of their vehicle, she takes her boots and her socks off and like digs her toes like into the ground um to start getting a feel of um the terrain, since the the old lady said that it's more of one of stillness. And this is gonna be weird, but as we're trying to catch up to Tian, I would like to try and use my slink, but instead of trying
Okay.
to avoid detection, trying to like combine my essence with the vibes of the terrain around us and trying to see if I can get a feel for whatever this being might be.
Okay, yeah.
Vibe check.
This is a good vibe check. Yeah, that looks like roll plus fine.
Sure, you make fists with your toes.
Yeah, that's exactly what she's doing. And I think Pickles scurries down her body to like also like
Do the same thing.
get it.
I love that.
These little tiny feet in the tiny.
9. Wait,
Okay.
no, plus fine, that would be 10.
Oh, so there you go. Yeah. So kind of to change this the result of the original move to kind of fit more of what you're going for. The ground that you're standing on right now is pretty gritty, pretty coarse. It's not very fine grained sand, but um, as you're just kind of feeling this, you do feel like you are attuning to this. And as you're sitting and kind of listening, and if you readjust your position at all, you can kind of feel the very minute differences between these different like places in the ground. Being in canyon, you know that there are just hundreds and thousands, like hundreds of thousands of these little layers of different kinds of earth that really mark the time of whenever that layer came from. So you really do get to appreciate that um, this place is very old and there is a lot to learn from it. And it does want to teach you. It does seem receptive.
And one of my specialties is that I can control my heart rate just so that I can stay calm in all situations. I would like to kind of use that specialty to feel how the earth changes. Um so it's like in tune with the quietness that we feel right now.
I like that. And you know what? Since and I should have been giving these out with the information gathering as well. Um, for the going out of your way to look at the support beam because I did not have that planned. So I was really impressed with that. And really attuning right off the bat to the canyon. Go ahead and add 2 session aces. Um, those will be handy for whatever roles you might want to do. They're D4s. You can add to any role, but I will kind of remind that they're very very helpful in the symbiosis phase. As the control tracks between those and how you heal a monster is a little asymmetrical. But yeah, 2 session aces, and then your character aces are like things about your character, like your equipment, stuff like that, that you can add a D4 to sometimes. Um, and we can get into other kinds of aces if we actually get to them. But great. Um, yeah, I will say, like, since you kind of used your specialty, um, you feel at peace here until you kind of feel like as you lower your heart rate, you can kind of feel another like huge, large heart rate far like it's muffled because of how far you are from it. But there is a large heartbeat underneath.
It it's a it's a large being, definitely far beneath the earth. She wasn't lying. It's big.
And how is it feeling then? Can you tell, or are we too far away?
Are we too far away? Does it feel
I think
fairly normal right now?
I think right now it is kind of hard to tell. It does seem muffled just because of the number of layers and feet you are from wherever it might be. It doesn't seem very like pinpointed or generalized. It just kind of feels like a general like, yeah, there's something else here, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
It's still quite deep. It's still too far away to really tell, other than that it's there.
Okay, well, it's good that you've sensed it. But we're gonna go catch up with Tien. You good to go now, or do you need another minute?
But no, I should be good. I should be good to go.
Okay.
She keeps her boots and her socks off and kind of tucks them uh into her waistband. You can tell by her feet that she's done this quite often because they're all like calloused, and it's like if a ballerina were to take off her ballerina shoes kind of thing.
Absolutely. I think we should go back to Tian, who's trying to set up some type of system to get down to the bottom of this canyon.
Yeah, so he's pulled the other cord and retracted his wing glider back into the pack, so he's not getting caught up on branches and stuff. And and he's trying to rig up ropes and all this kind of stuff to try to make it so that the others can climb down. Like he's totally confident he could get down without any issue, but he also knows climbing because he spent his entire childhood climbing the towers of Victoria Grossis and learning how to get places where you really probably shouldn't be by going up and over them. So he's trying to figure out a way to make it easy enough that even these amateurs could could get where they need to be.
Wow, so kind of you.
Yeah, I will say,
It's my specialty, man.
yeah, it's your specialty, so that's why I will um give you a D4 on this roll. But I do think there needs a roll. The roll needs to happen to set this up. I would be fine with this being either force or fine, like either one,
Okay.
whichever works.
Yeah, I'll do that with force. See if I have anything else that would work. I have free climb, which is one of my moves. Tinker is like background. So let's see. So that is a 5 and a 4, so that's 9. Plus 1 for force, so that's 10. And you said a D4?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 3 on the D4, so that is 13.
Yeah, big success there. Um, yeah, I think you were able to make an efficient climbing system for people to get down pretty safely. I mean, once the rest of you are kind of looking down, it's pretty impressive with the scant supplies that you all were managed to get from Suncairn. That no, it worked out. This looks secure to climb down.
Like most of it is using the actual plant life and stuff and rocks and things that are already there, and just using like ropes and stuff to kind of bridge gaps. And he's just down there like, "Hi."
Alright,
Now,
I'll use
now,
the way that he made to get down.
now that you all are like kind of closer to this precipice too, I am very interested in learning, with the rest of your characters, what type of flora they would smell that's familiar to their homes.
I mean, mine would be, I guess mine would actually technically depend on Faye. So I feel like she has to go first.
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, if we're talking about like home, that's probably like a lot of lavender. Um, I think she grew up probably. I'm not as familiar with all the areas, but somewhere like plains wise with like really large lavender fields. And she moved for college, but home also smells like cilantro.
I
So
love
the
that.
Gerard. Okay, so that would be like, because the fact that then Lulu lives with Faye, so it would be more of a plains thing. So then for her, being her affinity is more water based, that means that what she would normally associate with the smell of would be like pond scum, so algae.
Hey, that totally worked.
Yeah, that would be what you'd associate with.
Wazi grew up in a very more like urban setting, I imagine. So his scent of home when it comes to like flora, I'd imagine is more like decorative garden kind of flowers, like roses or something like that, maybe like lilacs, stuff that they would have in like parks to like, make the area look a bit more colorful.
Um, well, Jane is from the plains. Um, and I think like the smell she would get is not really of any of like the plants themselves, but the smell of mud like just on the verge of drying, where it's like the scent is like so strong you can almost taste it. Um, I think that's what she smells.
Yeah. That's incredible. And kind of as you all are noticing this and all smelling different things, like again, plants that are not native to here, none that you see directly. Kind of these different series of paths to get down this canyon, or maybe potential avenues, are revealed. From little tiny alcoves that could maybe be used as hand and footholds, to something that feels a little bit more like corridor like, kind of like almost stair like, but maybe a little too precarious. But you do have a path in front of you that's been made by your friend, that is super safe, and ready to go. But yeah, you all take a second and recognize that familiarity.
Does anyone else smell like pond scum?
I mean, I smell
No.
like wet mud, but this quarry's not like that kind of mud. You think it would smell like chalky if it were wet.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I shouldn't be smelling like that smell. There's no real. I mean, there's the river down there, but we're nowhere near it, and I don't see any like stagnant pools anywhere.
I was gonna say that nobody really mentioned smelling different things, but I guess if everybody is, we are all from different places, but if you live here, everybody kind of smells the same things.
Hey, hun, what are you smelling?
Um, I mean, it smells vaguely floral. But Gerard is okay though, right? It does smell like picked cilantro.
Oh, well, I haven't picked any fronds from him. And she'll like just grab him and like look at him and no, it's just some usual amount of aroma.
What about you, Wasi? What do you smell?
Smells like parks back home. More like flowers to me. I don't know. I've never heard of anything like this. Different smells to different people in one area.
Wonder what's producing that. Hey, Tien!
Tien is like got himself hooked into one of these trees, and his like legs wrapped around one of the branches, and he's kind of leaning backwards, like he's looking around for something, like in this precarious position that only a madman would think was comfortable. And he kind of pulls himself back. Yeah,
Do you smell anything like nostalgic here?
and this whole place smells like pine trees. And I'm looking around, and I'm not seeing any pine trees.
Oh,
This is totally the wrong biome for pine trees.
you're not wrong. That's. I mean, I do know my plants, and none of this is that kind of stuff, so it's a little interesting. I wonder what could be causing that. Jane, do you think it has something to do with that like vibe thing?
I mean, it's possible if this is a creature that isn't typically aggressive, it might want to give off a calming sense as like a defense mechanism so that your guard is down, or maybe it is used as an aggressive maneuver to yeah, make you have your guard down because you feel safe and at home.
Ooh, kind of like some plants lure in like bugs and stuff, like with good smells, like
Oh, like a Venus flytrap?
plant, or ooh, yeah, that one.
Is not a very settling, or that's not a very like soothing thing to have thought into our brains right now.
I love it. I didn't even have to say anything, y'all. Y'all are the ones coming up with these.
I mean,
Yeah.
is there any monsters that excrete olfactory smells
scents?
like this?
Pheromones.
I mean, granted, you two, indicating Wazi and Faye, are the most likely to have knowledge of that.
Faye does. Alice does not, which is why I'm asking Heck.
Oh, I was like, I mean, you can go ahead and roll for acuity. Either one of you, if you want to learn more potentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can get in on that too if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
That is an 11.
Ooh, very
Nice.
good.
The other dice aside.
That is 9 again.
Yeah, I think with the two of you putting your heads together, there are a number of things that can cause like illusions. There are some monsters that can do things that are not or seem not like how they actually are. Um, but this feels very real. It is incredibly nostalgic, and it does feel like some like form of communication. It doesn't necessarily seem bad in any way. It doesn't seem like a threat. It's just a strange phenomenon. It feels like.
I mean, this may be related to the vibes thing, but there's many monsters that do produce illusions. Maybe not this strong, but if Amalthea was right and creature is one of a kind and buried, who knows what it can do?
I just had a thought. What's the
Yeah?
name of this place again?
Good question, Heck. What's the name of this canyon?
It's like plastered on the top of the tourist map. This is the Canyon of Redolence. So this is a documented phenomenon that happens.
Yeah, it's right on the tin. It says this place smells.
There's just a picture, and like the picture associated with it is like a flower with a little bee.
Oh my, this place smells. Oh my
This place
gosh.
smells.
I'm
It's
gonna
like
have to
Scratch it.
make these
Wait,
infographics. I
the
hope y'all
map.
know. I'm gonna have to
The
make
map
them
is
now.
the map is, by the way, the map. That flower and bee thing is a little scratch and sniff.
Yes.
I love that. This is perfect. Okay, are y'all climbing down? Are you exploring more at the top?
I think we're gonna
Okay.
climb
Yeah, we're
down.
gonna. Yep.
Yeah. There's nowhere to go but down.
All
Okay.
downhill from here.
uh, as each of you are taking this climbing gear system with these incorporations of trees and shrubs and things to get down, you do get to experience the countless layers of different stone types that are making up these canyon walls. Just different oranges, reds, tans, and these yellow bands lie upon each other like pages in a well-worn history book. The sculpturesque texture of limestone from this land's time as a warm ocean contrasts directly with the more abrasive sandstone from when it didn't feel a drop of rain for decades. It's kind of each layer is seen and felt, it seems to stare back expectantly. And I will say, Jane, since you communicated or kind of felt the vibe with this thing, all of these layers seem to simply ask, what kind of layer will you bring?
Sound threatening at all.
Yeah, it seems a little
I mean, I think it
little
just
lay down
depends.
in this hole.
I think it just depends on you. I don't think it's really a threat, but just an invitation or just a thought. Like, what do you bring to the land? What kind of vibes are you going to put into it? Are they going to be good vibes? Are they going to be bad vibes? I mean, we've all experienced places where they've completely destroyed a monster habitat. Those weren't. That's not a good layer to put in Earth. I mean, we're receiving great things right now from the smells of home.
I like to think y'all are kind of communicating this whole like in a line, like a vertical line going down the side of this
Yeah.
cliff.
We're sliding down
We're
rope
like
and having this deep conversation about the
pressed up against
nature of our relationship to this world.
pressed up against the wall, shimmying across the ledge. Like that's deep. As
That's
deep as this
deep.
canyon when we fall into it.
Tien is literally just kind of gliding along in circles.
If
Like
we're
some
like
giant
shimmying along
buzzard.
a wall, I'm like my backpack is like pushing me out from the wall partly, so like my chest is like pushing out, and I'm trying to like somehow balance that.
I think Pickles
That's-
has like looked over the edge and made some like squeaks and like scurried up into my hair.
Oh no.
Oh pickles.
Yeah. I think this is something that Wazi would notice first, being a bird owner and having hockey. Um, climbing down, you see a kind of this alcove just kind of like into the wall face of the canyon. And you hear these small peeps that are echoing out of it.
Yeah, I'll pause for a second to see if I can investigate that a little closer.
Okay. Yeah. Are you climbing towards it or
Um, I suppose that depends. Like, is it like directly on the path we are taking, or would I have to go out of my way to get a closer
you'd
look?
have to go out of your way a little bit.
Mhm. If it's not too far, then yeah, I think I'd go check it out a bit closer
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Now I won't make you roll for it. It's like you just have to go out a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, you see this little alcove, and as you get closer, these peeps are just kind of growing louder and louder. Now that you kind of peek in, you see this relatively large bird chick, that has this sharp raptor-like beak, and what look like little platypus claws at the ends of its wings. And being who you are with monster biology and all of that, you'd pretty easily identify this as a baby pleagle. It looks curiously at you, continuing to peep.
Eat it.
Yeah, that's the next thing. That's all baby birds do. They just like open their mouth. So it's like opening his mouth. It's got this big pink mouth.
Feed me.
We will name it Seymour, even though that's not.
Seymour, no.
Yeah, can I just like get a sense of if it's doing all right in there, like just in case like it might need help, just at a
Yeah,
glance.
yeah, just kind of at a glance and looking into this alcove, and it's a decently large alcove. Um like you might have to like crouch a little to actually stand in it, but like it's possible. You might be able to. But just kind of looking in, it looks like a healthy baby bird. And kind of that's the thing with baby birds, when there's a baby, there's a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, flying towards the alcove, this massive adult Pleagle. It is probably going in the direction of um Tien, that's also flying over that. I didn't even account for that, but you're flying over too. It is going at top speed, screeching all of the while. She is bearing her talons towards all of you, which Wazi, at least you would probably know. Faye would also probably know that they have this highly venomous spur.
I was
Not
about to
unlike
ask.
a platypus. And as this thing is careening towards all of you, I think that is a great place to take a break. Um, so,
I
with that,
refuse.
huh?
I said I refuse.
Okay, the
No.
four of us will take a break and
Mhm.
It's like, well, he's like, I can't stop you technically, but don't go away, everybody. See what happens next with this a big old bird that is hurtling in their direction. But in the meantime, grab a drink, grab a snack if you need to. Do whatever you gotta do before we come back. But we'll be back in about probably 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go away. We'll see you around. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a lovely break. I know we certainly did. We were talking about storyboarding and having a whole discussion about it. It was great. Um, let's
IRS.
take a yeah, IRS.
Yeah. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, story.
Before we get back into the game, I just want to shout out that we have $80 of the 250 rewild charity goal. And remember, if we hit 250 by the end of this stream, I'm gonna take a pie to the face. So if you want to see that, it's gonna be recorded too, so you can play it over and
Oh wait,
over again.
what kind of pie though?
Probably just like the standard, like, put like a shit ton of whipped cream into a pie tin and just
are we doing this at a public event as well?
um potentially. We'll see when we get there. I need someone to
Details,
do this to me. I have to find somebody too.
details will
Um
be
as
details
a
will be
whole
sussed
thing.
out once we reach the
Right?
reach
Yeah,
the
figure
month.
Once
this
we
close
reach
to
it,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
I will drive
happen.
to heck.
You just drive. It's just a montage of you driving up there, carrying the pie. You can step
Oh my
outside.
god,
You're like,
just playing
"Hey,
that
Heck!"
next to
Heck turns
We're
around. Wha-bam!
We're like 2.5 states away.
yeah. Oh,
Very long
we
Yeah.
could
montage.
make it work,
Make it
but
like
we'll see once
it's
once
like a
we get
long
there.
stream of like hyping it up, and then you finally get there, and then it ends as soon as it
Ooh,
happens.
better yet, what you do
Oh,
is the
that's
whole trip
cinema.
there. The whole trip there is just talking about like serious kind of life, like revelations and everything like that. It's super deep and like reflective. And then you come up to Hack and you're like, Hack, and she turns around and you just pie to the face. Get your $250 worth, folks. All right, I'm sorry. We should go on the narrative.
No worries, no worries. I just wanted to call that out. Because yeah, if that happens, it'll be a good time. But yeah, back into our narrative. We left off, at kind of the tense point with a, full adult mom Pleagle careening towards the group. Especially those, actually in the alcove where her baby is, and those flying around. So what are y'all doing?
Tia's first instinct is to get the heck out of the way, so he just kind of dips to get out of the immediate path of screeching bird.
Hey,
I'm not allowed to use a symbiosis move yet, right?
unfortunately, no. This is
Oh,
still the
okay.
diagnosis phase.
I think I'm gonna kind of still rush to get down a bit. Actually, oh no. Oh, I don't want to. Okay, this is kind of the time to do this. I think it's important to get down to ground level, so as not to get taken out by a bird. I'm gonna use one of my character specialties.
Okay.
I'm going to. Oh man. Heck, this is a GM ruling.
Okay.
In this case, can I take a person with me when I do this?
I think this is individual.
This is a highly personal.
Unfortunately.
Okay. No, then I'm not gonna do it because I wouldn't leave Faye behind.
I think you would have to eat your whole plant.
No.
It's just proportional. Oh
No,
my god.
I don't want to hurt Gerard.
Sorry, Gerard.
I'm sorry, Gerard. No, we won't do it then. I won't leave Faye
Not,
behind.
not your child.
Yeah, but I'm going to I'm gonna like urge them on, like, oh, okay, we gotta get down to the ground level. Come on.
Is
Yeah.
it coming for Tien who's flying around or us on the ledge?
I feel like out of the whole group, y'all that are still like kind of on the path climbing down are more out of the way. It's more a Tien and Wazi type, like
Mhm.
just making a beeline, kind of a straight line
Mhm.
to the two of them. Um, but yeah, Tien, if you are trying to maneuver your way out of this, I would like. Oh, I'm between force and fine. I feel like yeah, let's go with the forces. This is just like a jerk. Like okay, I gotta go. Let's go with force.
Okay, and wing riding is one of his specialties.
Okay.
That's a 4 and a 3, so that's a 7. Oh, plus 1 for
Okay.
force, so it's 8.
Okay. Um. So, I will say that you managed to get out of the way, because her talons were going right at you, and so you don't get the talons, which is good. But I will say, just like the edge of the one of the wings on the glider gets a little clipped. You're not sure how much altitude you're going to be able to keep for a super long period of time. And kind of with that is like you kind of dodge out of the way. It almost goes down for you, but with the continuous peeps of this baby, she's gonna kind of soar right back up and be going towards that alcove. Wazi, what are you doing?
Um, since one of my trainings is in behavioral study, is there anything that I can think of to do that might, like, even for just a little bit to allow me to get away, like divert the adult Pleagle's attention or cause it to, I don't know, maybe back off for a second so I can move?
Um,
I assume that would
go.
be a check if I were to try and
Yeah,
do
it's like
something like
that
that.
sounds like an acuity or whatever you
Yeah.
have the monster biology
Mm.
in.
Yeah, that is a cutie.
Okay,
So,
right.
7.
7. Okay. Then yeah, it's like a success with consequences. With PBTAs, it's like it's always I always have to think about it.
Mhm.
I will say that you do know that kind of diverting her attention. They're very protective animals, and usually just like keeping your distance and kind of backing off
Mhm.
without like turning your back on them. Um, tends to work decently well. The problem is you don't have a lot of space to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of the consequence of that. You unfortunately don't really have space.
Okay.
I c-
Um, sorry, go ahead.
I would say I can I would know that Pleagles are probably like predator birds.
Fair assessment.
I would like to use one of my specialties to distract this
Okay.
Pleagle. Um it was something I was actually going to be saving for the end. I was going to surprise Jane with a little cake that was shaped like pickle, because one of Faye's hobbies is making extremely realistic cake, like extremely realistic cakes. So she had her like little lunch bag with her, and inside is a little hedgehog cake. And
Oh my god.
Delightful.
I, I would I would feel really bad, and Jane, don't look. And she like flings the cake like out into the distance.
Close and covers
Like I'm
my
about
eyes on this ledge.
Yeah,
I
I'll
guess with
I'll
the
say
pickles, you probably should told not to look.
oh, I feel like this does have this can't be left up to chance. I like the use of the specialty, so definitely include that in the role. um but let's see, are you more trying to like see how far you can throw it, or are you just like,
I'm just trying to throw it
really
in the
trying to make this
opposite
promising?
direction
Okay.
to make it look
Um
like a flying hedgehog treat.
okay, that seems more like you're trying to like deceive it more. So I'm gonna call this a lure.
I am so great at it.
Yeah, you get the specialty die on it, right?
Yeah, I get a specialty die, right?
Yeah.
And that's a D4, right?
Mhm.
That was.
And then I would like, since this is like an item that you had, I do kind of want to call this more of like a character ace. So once you use this, you obviously can't use it again because
Of
you don't
course.
have the cake.
Sorry, Jane.
My eyes are closed. I don't know what you're apologizing for, but I'm sure it's okay.
Oh wow, hun, that was really nicely made. Looks
Oh,
so
there it
realistic.
goes.
That's a 9.
Okay. Yeah. Since you throw it, unfortunately, it doesn't get super far. It manages to distract the adult Fleagle, though. I will say it gives enough time for Wazzy to get out of the alcove. But as you're kind of throwing it, the trajectory doesn't quite make the mark, and now she is flying towards you.
I can use
Screeching
a
on the way.
diagnosis move, though, right?
You could.
I would like to use Bond.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
So
Um,
I'm spending time near this creature.
yeah.
That's a good
And
way of putting it.
I'll allow it just because of how connected everything is in this canyon. Like, it could connect back to the monster. I'd be okay with that. So, okay, yeah, go ahead and roll plus allure.
Well, that was an 8, but then it's -1, so that's at least a 7.
Okay, it's still not a miss though. Okay, so you fail to make a connection, but miss the
How can
one
I?
supply. That's the mentor question on how to appeal to the monster. Okay.
How? Yeah. I'm sure there is more snacks somewhere, and I toss a piece of jerky at it. And I just don't have snacks.
Yeah. Are you throwing something out at it as kind of like
Yeah.
a bond? Okay. Yeah, it takes that, and the thing that you notice is it's still wary of you, and since it's getting really close at this point, close enough that like it kind of catches it midair. You notice that there are like on her like scaly kind of raptor legs. There are small, shimmering golden deposits that shouldn't be there. You know they shouldn't. And that just screams false gold at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't make the bond with this creature, but and it is now that Wazi is gone from the alcove, it just kind of like makes its pass and then keeps its distance away from y'all and just being in a very protective kind of stance around the nest. Uh, and now that it's in kind of this alcove, you really did get to appreciate when it was flying just the full wingspan. It was easily like 10 feet. Big bird.
Wow, it's really gorgeous. I'm really glad it didn't eat us.
That'd have been bad.
I
Mhm.
mean, I am a little sad we didn't get to make friends with it, but maybe we just start going down instead of sideways.
I'm sorry that I brought it over to us. If I should have just stayed on the path.
I mean, you went to go check on the peeping. Um, you know, suppose it's good to make sure that a baby is okay. Although maybe after we deal with whoever is waking up from their nap, we should eventually come back and take care of that, indicating the false gold.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, go back and help that at some point. But not right now. Now is the time to reach the floor.
Yeah.
And TN at this point is he has just continued going down, having that little rip at the edge of his wing. It's kind of worrisome, so he doesn't want to. So he's basically just trying to glide down as easily
Mhm.
as possible, and we'll meet them at the base.
Yeah, easy enough to do. Y'all managed to make it down without any incident after that. um, and just standing on this base, now so close to the river, the Cobalt Anchor, um, you appreciate just how loud it is. It's this river with a striking blue hue, and an incredibly strong current. Never meandering, it remains completely entrenched at the bottom of this canyon. Kind of as you're looking around, there are these petrified remains of mankind's previous attempts to dam this river, and it's sitting on the banks almost like trophies. The water's incessant roars speaking over any conversation you all are trying to have as if it knows its own name and confidently assumes that you pose no challenge. It asks no questions, it only demands that you follow.
Guess that's what we're gonna have to do. Tien, you're okay, right?
Yeah, no. I'm good. I just gotta. He caught the edge of one of my wings there. I'm gonna have to fix that later. So,
Oh, pass it
no,
here.
I'm fine. Unstrap. There's like a belt buckle and a chest strap and other straps.
Lulu will take it and sit on the ground for a second and take out of her little pack a sewing kit, because one of her specialties is she's good at fixing things that are worn out. So she'll just give it a quick little, a little tie up and be like, all right, you can't do anything too rough because I don't have the good thread for this, but it should be good enough for, simply getting around.
Oh, hey, that's awesome. Thank you, Lulu. That'll be great. Hopefully we won't have to do that.
Yeah, but just in case, it's always good to have, right?
We don't get attacked by giant birds.
Yeah, that's something I don't want to have happen very often. So, Wazzy, I think it's time for you to get that raft out.
I open my pack and take out the raft, and now I start unfolding it for us to ride down the river.
Okay, great.
Yeah, when everyone gets in, I guess Lulu's not actually gonna get into the raft. She'll push you guys off because I have a swimsuit for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It ends
Swim
up that
in the rapids.
it ends up Lululemon has aquatic superiority.
Okay.
Nice.
Which it says you grew up around water and maybe spent more time in it than land. And when you're in water, you're just a real badass.
Yeah, I as soon as I saw that move, I was like, "Oh, it's perfect for this setting."
Yes, thank you. I'm glad I did that. So she's just gonna put her flip flops into the into the raft, and she's just gonna swim along with it. Being a real badass. Oh, and Gerard, because I mean,
Yeah, Gerard
Plants
can't
don't
swim,
swim well.
unfortunately.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gerard is not an aquatic plant, so we're just gonna put him gently into the raft. Take care of my baby.
Faye picks up Gerard and places him in her lap. God, she really is a hell of a woman.
Oh, my heart. I love them.
And maybe
So,
one day
yeah.
she'll agree to date me.
Even though I called you my girlfriend, I'm like, my
Just-
girlfriend, and she's like, wow, we are girls and friends, and it's like, Faye.
Even Tien at this point is just staring at Faye like,
She might like me, but I'm not sure.
I just don't know her feelings, how she feels about me. Like, she told me she loves me, but clearly that's a friendship thing, right?
Yeah,
It's
and the
the-
one-bedroom apartment's just to save on rent.
It's the meme of the guy with his back against the wall, and the girl has her leg vertical, up against.
Such subtle messages.
It's the meme of the two girls, and one's putting makeup on the other, and wow, she's really creative.
Such gal pal moments.
Well, yeah, if y'all are rafting your way down, you notice that it's less so a change in what the river is doing, more where the land is able to find a purchase and jut out more into where the rapids are going. So there are a couple banks on which you could put the raft, but also and probably Lulu notices this first before the rest of you is despite how desolate this canyon seems from far away, like there are still signs of life. We've noticed that from the start, but despite that unrelenting rage of the cobalt anchor, some lily pads have actually managed to find purchase in the like more so the edges, the fringes of this river, just past where shore would be in which to grow. Um, so as you all are kind of going past, and there's one kind of like larger bank coming up, um, there is on one of these lily pads just a single green frog sitting there.
Now might be a good
It
time to
looks
tell you
so.
guys that I get motion sick on the water.
Um,
I don't know if you should
Hi.
sit in front of me or behind me. Then I'm
I feel like you
really
should
worried
sit.
about either direction.
You should sit in the back.
You should
I'm just
probably find
gonna.
a place in the raft to stare at and focus on it, and nothing else around us that's moving.
I'll make sure to sit next to an edge.
Please.
I'm gonna make sure I swim on the opposite side of that edge.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The last thing I
No.
need. I go under and go to the opposite side. Oh, nope. I feel like that's a thing we should have remembered, but about Jane.
It
Yeah,
may
I mean
not
this.
be the thing that Jane just came up with right now.
Jane's like sitting there, be like,
Very
did
good.
you? Oh no, I get sick.
Yeah.
Suddenly
This is
dawns on
this is
her.
a problem.
Right.
But yeah, I mean this river stretches about the length of the canyon, which is kind of as far as the eye can see. So it's really just a matter of which bank you all would like to stop at. I will say that that one green frog, despite everything that is happening around it, is so chill. It's just sitting there, unbothered.
Going past and
Trevor.
frog.
It does the little like throat expand thing.
I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, but as they're going, Tien is kind of like trying to watch like the sides and stuff. I'll probably pick whatever side that I'm on and kind of just looking for signs of something out of the ordinary, that might indicate, we're in the right spot or that we might be close to what we're looking for.
You know what also might be a good idea is I'll call out to Jane. Hey Jane, to like keep yourself centered and okay, why don't you do a vibe check? Relax and do a vibe check. See if we're getting closer.
Yeah, that's what she'll do. She'll do like what Faye had mentioned and just like focus on like one part of the raft where even in her peripherals she can't really see the moving, but it's really not the visual, it's the feeling of the waves. um but she's definitely gonna try and like get a feel if now that they're lower in the canyon if they've gotten closer to that heart.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds like both Tian and Jane are kind of doing the same things, or at least trying to like find the same thing. So Tian, if you're looking around, roll me an acuity. And then Jane, what are you doing to vibe check? Anything special, or are you just kind of like in character just listening?
I think what she does is she gets lower to the raft and kind of similar to what she did at the top of the canyon, but instead she's gonna stick her hand off of the side into the water to just get a feel of the earth that is natural to the environment than the raft that we brought in.
Okay. Yeah, so what did you roll, Tian?
I got a 7, unless his like eye for detail would help
I
at
think
all.
that would count. I think that would count.
Okay. So I get an 8 then.
Okay. Hey, this one up. Um, all right. So yeah, between the two of you, and I think the two of you kind of get to the same answer at the same time, just in different ways. Jane, as you're kind of hunkering down and actually feeling the flow of the water and trying to suss out anything that is just this super minute change in detail like it was at the top of this canyon. You notice that in one direction, it's towards that kind of larger bank where the frog is sitting. That there's just this tiny little difference in change of the current. It's just this teensy bit slower, almost imperceptible. But since you are taking the time to attune so closely, you notice it. It's there. There's a little something going on. Um, and for Tian with looking for uh, any changes and an eye for detail, um, you kind of reach the same conclusion of stopping at this bank might be a good idea. Um, just because there's like this tiny it's a feeling thing. It's like there's almost this kind of difference or like fault in what the wall looks like, but you can't really put your finger on why it looks different. It's just a it's like something's not quite right here. So that pings, but you have a hard time figuring out like what specifically.
Picture them both at the same time being like, that way.
Yeah.
Like stop the raft, stop the raft.
I'll
Hard
help steer
pivot,
the
hard
raft
pivot.
over.
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah.
grab on the raft and swim over with it.
I assume I'm like using the paddles or the rudder, whatever, however we're progressing down this river. So yeah, I help steer it towards the indicated shore.
Okay. Yeah, easily enough done. Just because like, especially with there kind of being a bank there, I feel like the river's just kind of pushing you away. I was like, it doesn't want you here anymore. It's a
Get
very,
off.
very pompous body of water. If there ever could be one. Um,
Body of
I'm
water.
not sure if y'all got
I
that
never
vibe.
swam. I never swam in a body of water that felt so pompous before. And like, I feel like it's deserved. I mean, it's very gorgeous and very powerful. So like, good for it.
Does feel a little stuck up.
A little stuck up, but you know what? It's a queen. Go get it. Good for you. For you, queen.
Yeah, it really even just like and kind of with the vibe check, I will say that that calls more from the earth side of things than the water side of things. Like any conversation with this body of water has been very one-sided. It's just how it is. Yeah, you all stop onto it and are able to get off of the raft onto like this kind of edge. Um and that singular frog is just kind of sitting there looking at y'all from the lily pad. It's just chilling.
I want to make him some clothes.
Okay.
How big is this frog? Is it like a normal sized frog?
Yeah.
I don't know if a frog should have clothes.
Those frogs should
That
have
feels kind
clothes.
of. I was gonna say that feels kind of bad for an amphibian to have clothing.
Little
All
bit.
the other frogs are going to be so jealous.
Right.
They're gonna breathe a little better than this
I-
frog.
Okay. It's gonna be a little big, but Jade is gonna pull out this like little like swimsuit top, like not quite a one piece, but like a full like tank top, like it would cover the whole top, and attempt to put it on the frog. To put it in this just a little swimsuit that is supposed to be for pickles.
As you get close to this frog with that and attempt to offer any sort of clothing, it jumps to the next lily pad farther away. Doesn't completely leave, but it's just like Eh.
Good. Good.
It would have looked so
I-
cute in a Lululemon bathing suit.
I mean, it's true. He probably would. He's just not interested, though. His little webbed feet are just fine.
Next time.
Next time, I'm gonna get you,
Is it the
frog.
frog wearing the swimsuit that's I drew Lulu in?
Okay, I love that though.
It's just a tiny version of Lulu's swimsuit.
Oh my god,
Just no bottoms.
I need this. Okay, yeah, you all are on the bank. What would you like to do?
I want to head towards the canyon wall and take a look around. Because there was something off there, and I want to kind of try to see if I can't figure out what it was.
Okay. What are the rest of y'all doing?
I'd go with Tien.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you first.
Would I be able to use? Would I be able to like ask Hockey to like kind of survey the higher parts of the canyon wall, see if there's anything there, similar to what Tien and Jane are doing, but just at a higher elevation.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull that thread a little bit. As the rest of y'all are kind of like at the base of this wall, just trying to figure out what's different. You're staring at it again. It's like something is just off. What is it? And Hockey is just kind of surveying the top part, and you watch as you are sure he is going to like fly directly and like hit the higher wall of this canyon. But as he continues to fly, he just disappears like into the wall and then kind of just flies back out at the rest of you. It looks like a magic trick.
Can I just go up to the wall and touch it?
Okay, where on the wall are you touching?
I mean, if we're all watching Hockey fly through, like just the general area, just like on the ground though.
Okay. Yeah, as you're just kind of like hand out like touching this wall, your hand is fully extended and you can see it, but you're still not touching the wall.
It's an optical illusion.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, there's definitely monsters that can cause illusions, and we've already seen that it's doing the thing with the sense. So what
No,
more?
I
And
think
I
this is
mean,
more like it's. I don't think it's causing an illusion. I think it's just the way the wall is built. You ever seen? There's labyrinths made that. You ever seen one of those where you look at the wall and it just looks like one continuous thing, but it's actually there's actually an opening there. It just looks the same. It's just totally an optical illusion. It's all physics.
Well, I guess the easy way to figure this out is Lulu's just gonna walk forward
Yeah.
into it to see if this is what it is. It's just an
And I
optical
feel
illusion.
yeah, I feel like mid explanation, you just start going. And yeah, almost like an elaborate puzzle, like with these pieces and the layers. The back wall and the outer stone faces of this canyon, or more stone faces of like this hidden cave are kind of showing themselves. And now that you're just kind of standing in that space, you are noticing like a little bit of a wind current kind of like pushing out and then sucking back in, like almost breath like.
Huh. Weird. It feels like it's breathing.
curiosity, does there seem to be like a top to this? Or is it just straight up to the sky?
Um, what do you mean exactly?
If Lulu is saying there's the potential that it feels like it's breathing, I want to make sure we're not about to walk into the mouth of something.
I mean, like it looks like a cave. I mean, it's like continuous with like the wall. So it's just like one like opening, and then the rest of the canyon is going up to the very top of the cliff.
But it doesn't look like there's like an enclosed space. It's just like to the edge of the canyon and you can see the sky. Or
More along the
I
lines of like,
I
am I
feel like
about
I'm
to
still
walk?
not
I
understanding
think
the
the
question.
question. I
Is
think
there
the
like a
question is,
roof to the cave, maybe?
am I walking into a mouth? Is what I think.
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, it's like you might be able to say that there are like stalactites that look a little funny, but it doesn't give you the vibe of a mouth.
Okay.
As you walk more into it, if you are.
Well, I
Oh yeah,
guess.
I've totally abandoned any caution and just walking forward into this.
I
thing.
mean, fortune favors favors the brave. So, and we're not gonna get anywhere unless we go forward. So, I don't think this is a mouth, but I do think something nearby with a mouth is in the area. So,
Mhm.
let's go.
Guess we're all going down into the cave then.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you are doing that, and you all kind of feel this like, again, like almost like this cave is alive, but you, like looking at the top, like this doesn't look like a pallet, like this isn't a mouth, but it's just like it still feels like. I mean, like the rest of the canyon, just all of it feels kind of alive and like it's actively communicating. So that's just kind of another aspect of this. As you continue to walk into it, there is this chandelier of stalactites that hangs down from the ceiling of the cave. By the massive size alone, it shows probably the thousands of years it spent scavenging nourishment from the chambers above. At its lowest point into the ground, or to the ground, the chandelier kind of reveals this entrance of this large tunnel, as if the cave continues to go. I think at that point is when another quake happens. It is strong, and you all can hear that it's not just the groaning of earth. There is something here that is in pain. And the fact that Amalthea was able to sense that from so far away really does kind of speak to her connection to this place. Because this is different. This is special. And as this quake happens, I'm actually going to need all of you to roll grit for me real fast.
That's an 11.
Okay.
9 for me.
Okay.
4.
9.
7.
All right.
4.
4. Okay. This is like, yeah. The rest of you are like managing to steal yourselves, just fine. But Jane, just being, you're able to keep yourself up, but I will say that you are going to drop a supply or two. I'm actually gonna roll for that really fast. All right, so that's a 2. So if you have 2 supply to lose 2 supply. Yeah, as it just kind of shakes you all, and it's the longest like 30 seconds to a minute of your life of just like, oh my gosh, is this stalactite chandelier going to fall? Like this is going to be a huge problem. But you all kind of steel yourselves, and it eventually subsides.
Um,
Um,
I think when like Jade is kind of jostled by this, I think she does drop to the ground to get her like toes and her fingers just as like in the dirt or loose stone as she can. Um, and try and use a little bit of that slink again to like hide her essence from where she is now, but like push it into the earth. Because her training for Allure is de-escalation to kind of like try and communicate that help is on the way and don't be afraid, because they partially because she doesn't want to get attacked as soon as they get too close to this.
Fair. Okay, then how about we do an allure roll?
I'm not gonna roll that dice. It's done me dirty so much. Oh, there we go. 4, 4, 8, 9.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, 9.
Okay. I think that with this, I will say now that your hands and feet are kind of on the ground, you're just kind of like really trying to focus. It's still hard to communicate back to this thing. It is easy to listen. You've heard a lot from it, but the message still really isn't getting through. But what you do with this, though, is you are going to reveal one of the wounds of this creature, important to the diagnosis phase. Um, so I will say that the wound you reveal um, is as you're looking at um, the earth that's right in front of you, you open your eyes and you see that there's looks like some type of fossil earth, like maybe a fern or something like that, that wasn't there when you walked into this place. The layers of the canyon are changing into patches of fossils with each quake, is the wound that you reveal.
I'll communicate that with the group that the ground is changing with each quake. Almost like it's
That's
Okay.
fossilizing the
That's
plant life
weird.
around it.
It seemed to be.
It could explain the stone you found in those pillars, Ian.
yeah, that's weird. I've never heard of anything like that.
Especially if they came from this quarry.
Uh, Wazzy, Faye, you ever heard of anything like that?
I mean, does it seem to be fossilizing the plants, or does it seem to be pushing up like fossils of plants?
Unclear, honestly. It's just the layers themselves are changing.
Well, I guess either way, it sounds like we're gonna have to kind of expedite our journey and move a bit with more purpose.
Yeah, just be careful because if it's in this much pain, it's gonna be vulnerable and it might be aggressive,
Yeah, I
whether
prefer
on
not to
purpose
do
or
that.
not.
Well, I mean, our job is to alleviate his pain, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Monster Care Squad. High fives.
Yeah.
A little affirmation to get us back to being a little bit more like, motivated.
I
High
try to
fives.
return the high five, but I have to like jump and get as high a vertical as I can.
We got
Like,
an 80s
making Wazzy
montage
up.
version of it. Yeah.
But does
Freeze
Wazzy
frame.
have hops? um, okay. So y'all are heading into the tunnel then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with a little more alacrity.
Okay. Yes, with purpose. You go into these tunnels. And they tend to wind. It feels like this is a whole system once you actually get into it. There's this stale air on the inside, akin to some of the most secluded library sections any of y'all have been in. It's giving the energy that it is a secret place that has been long undisturbed. Um, and if y'all are trying to find a way to navigate this place, whoever's kind of taking point on that, go ahead and roll acuity.
I think that would be me taking point.
Okay.
I feel like
Go for
Lulu's is taking point. Which was really good actually. That is acuity a 10.
Okay. So it takes you a second, but you're able to pick up on this. with a little bit of time, you find the first of many stone imprints that are kind of almost a teaching to move forward. There are hoof prints of, one creature that become an entire stampede before its bones rejoin the floor. There on the walls are kind of these bumpy impressions of fern leaves, as though once you touch it, it feels like it has retained the warmth of the sun before leaving dust back on your fingertips. There are footprints that have been left by people who cultivated this land long ago, and they forge a path ahead. It's this inlaid record of the tunnel that promises answers to what you all are seeking, but probably at the price of reading its story as well as contributing to it.
Interesting.
Kind of looks over at Wazzy. Are you writing this down? Because this is.
I write everything down.
Alright, good.
He's never stopped writing. He's been writing since the day he was born.
As soon as he picked up a pencil, he knew what to do.
His eyes hadn't even opened yet, and he grasped the pen.
My eyes started glowing when I first grabbed a pencil. I know what my purpose is.
So yeah, once you find this pattern of all of these imprints that are more or less showing you whatever way that particular tunnel wants you to go, what are y'all doing?
I mean, I'm just following it, of course.
Is there because Amalthea talked about like those deposits like of liquid and everything. Are there like any of those around by any chance?
Go ahead. Some acuity.
10.
10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say as you're kind of looking around these and feeling the different imprints and everything, some of the residue that is left on your fingers from that dust does feel a little bit shiny. Not everywhere. It's not all over the place. It's just very subtle, and every once in a while it is still not consistent.
Does it seem like false gold though, or
If
something
you leave it
else?
on your fingers long enough, it becomes very apparent. It's not a good substance to have.
Oh man, Lulu will take out a handkerchief and like wipe Faye's hands off when she sees that. Honey, we have some rubber, we have some like latex gloves in our packs.
True, you're
We
right.
don't touch that stuff.
We know that's bad.
Does it seem to like get heavier or more frequent the farther we go in?
I'll still say it's pretty infrequent. Still, it's not like the kind of main finding, I suppose, that you all find as you continue going down this tunnel. The big thing that I think all of you will see, I don't think anyone has the role for this. You all see a massive footprint that takes up pretty much the entire like 10 to 12 foot width of this tunnel. It has 5 digits that seem to have just absolutely giant claws on the end.
As soon as I see that, I am digging through my pack to try and find a book to identify this.
Tien gets in his pack and pulls out like measuring tape and just starts like.
This is very good.
Lulu will help him with the
grapple.
measurement because, you know, she'll go and like grab it and walk to the other end for him.
Yeah. Even my
Yeah, I
arm
mean,
is
Just
long.
watching someone try to deal with like that long of a distance. She's just like, okay, grabs and helps him.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely massive. And Wazzy, I'll just kind of give this to you since you're looking at your references. There's nothing that is an exact match to this. Like it is huge. The claws aren't quite right for whatever you're trying to look for. You think like you could at least figure out this is reptilian-esque, probably, but yeah, there's not an exact match.
Mhm. It's looking more and more like this is some kind of unique species. I can't find any sort of exact reference to this footprint.
Well, then I guess you'll have an exciting addition to your book when we find it. But let's not dwell too long on taking many more measurements of this because we really should go help the creature.
Right.
Well, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, you got what you need.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
he's got his own little notebook that he just like makes some like illegible chicken scratch writing, and then shoves it back in his pocket.
Did your parents want you to become a doctor?
No, my parents wanted me to be a blacksmith.
Okay, just the handwriting.
Oh. Okay, so you all continue then?
Yes.
Okay. You continue not much further than the giant footprint. This tunnel hits like a clean dead end. Um, Getting kind of closer to this wall, if you do, the wall that's kind of cutting off the path is just filled with fossils of all different shapes and sizes, seemingly from all different periods of time.
Well,
Do we think maybe there's another false wall? Or are we thinking that it's behind this wall and maybe it's fossil that's.
I'll give a bit of a knock at the wall.
Okay. Knocking on the wall. This wall is hot to the touch.
Ah!
You have to take a little second off. Then you notice more closely that there are almost like cracks or like fissures in um these in the wall itself. Then you notice it's more patterned.
Is this
These
scales?
these seem like scales.
No, we
Um
just knocked
and
Oh.
there is steam coming out.
Hit the monster.
And since you did touch it, Lulu, go ahead and roll me a grit.
It feels so bad
Okay.
that we thought it was a wall and we just knocked on the monster.
Hey, you know what? I'm doing pretty all right. That's an 8.
It's not bad.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
ow.
I will say, yeah, you remain unharmed. But this is enough for this wall to start to shift. Relatively rapidly for, a giant wall to be able to do. And I will say that will reveal the second wound. That all nearby water is beginning to boil.
Oh, my precious water. I love precious water.
Is there any
Oh.
water in here with us?
Other than the steam escaping from this thing, other than that, there is probably some condensation from that rising steam, just kind of like dripping off of the stalactites, and yeah, it's real warm. I would say if there is enough collection in like one of the fossils or something like that, you could probably tell that it's a little steamy, a little boily.
Pull out my canteen, pop the top, and just.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, it is growing hotter and hotter and hotter in here. Um, and there is like continuous uncomfortable shifting of this wall. And I will say, since you all found the 2 wounds, that is the completion of the diagnosis clock.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
that would take us to the synthesis phase of
Alright.
the what do you want to do? Uh, you know what this thing is causing, what the problems are, um, what kind of things do you want to procure to be able to solve the problem?
Okay. So I'm going to assume. All right. So sorry. This wound is the fact that it's very hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's suffering a fever. What was the first wound?
The first one was the changing of layers every time there's a quake. There are little patches of fossils that have been
Okay.
appearing in places.
Mhm.
So it's got the
All right.
shivers.
Yeah. So it's got a fever and the shivers. It sounds
Mhm.
like.
Sounds about right.
I think the
Possibly
thing
a
that we
rash.
need to do is, I think we immediately might need to back off a little bit so we don't get microwaved by this
Mhm.
by this
Yeah.
creature.
Mhm.
Now that we kind of know where it is, back off a bit. Okay. So it's a synthesis phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do have a special thing in synthesis where I have plant friend.
Okay.
So it says you've got more than a green thumb. You've got a way with plants. You are able to tell which plants have medicinal properties, and sometimes even able to coax a plant into giving you a few petals, a flower, or even a whole branch, if you bring a gift to the plant, or otherwise you right by it, and then you gain an ace.
Mhm.
So I think then Lulu would be like, all right, if you guys want to figure out some ways to treat this creature, I'm gonna go outside real quick and I'm gonna see if I can find any plants to help with fever reduction.
Okay.
So I'll be back. And she's gonna quickly run off.
Yeah.
Um,
Who is leaving the tunnels and who's staying?
I think Jane would stay.
Okay.
Based on the size of the tunnel and the crack, does this look like something this monster might be able to have like been moving through? Or
I think this is more of like an incidental. Like this tunnel was here and it just kind of went right through it, not like along the path. It just kind of incidentally cracked into that one
This-
spot.
I'm thinking we might need to find out where like the larger tunnel is or where it's sleeping to get a better look at it. This We're only seeing a part of it and we don't quite know just what's wrong with it. Examining the foot of something essentially.
Right. Gotta find a way to bring that temperature down too. Holy cow.
Is it possible to like examine the like part of the body, like the scaly part of the body that we can see for any sort of like obvious like aberrations or anything, like a wound or any sort of like sores or something potentially?
And roll me some acuity. This is technically a little diagnostic phase, but that's fine. Like
Okay.
you could look at it.
7. I mean, it still got
Yeah.
it, but
It's like
cutting it
it's
close.
this spot looks clean. Like you're able to get a good sweep of this. But chances are this is a small part of a much bigger thing.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily help.
Um, so it sounds like Faye and Tian are gonna look for the head of this creature.
Or the larger cavern at least.
Or at least his butt, if we can give it a suppository. We gotta find an end.
Oh my god.
One or
We
the
need an
other.
end. One
Might
or
be
the
able
other, we need an end.
Because
Yeah, was this cave just a complete straight shot from the entrance to where we are now, or were there any sort of like offshoots that we could potentially look down?
Um, I mean, this was a whole system. There are definitely offshoots. You all just kind of took the more straight shot with whatever this canyon was trying to lead you to with the
Okay.
imprints. But yeah, no, there's plenty of other stuff, and it's disorienting at first until you find the,
Mhm.
the path. Um,
Um, I think I'm gonna use my character ace once we find the part of the creature that actually find head or the butt of the creature. So I'm gonna go with Faye and Tian.
So Tian is actually going to go do something different. Because I feel like we really need to worry about the temperature and being able to get close enough to it. So, quick question: what was the difference in level between like the bank and the river level?
Really not by much. You all didn't have to do like two different like pulling on the raft to like actually get it up there. You had to take it a little further away because it's like, relatively level. You don't want that floating away. But
Wazzy, can I have your raft?
Yeah, it's meant for all of us.
Are you going to need it back later?
I suppose potentially to get out of the canyon, but I mean, if we need it to treat the monster, then we can use it for whatever we need.
Great, thanks. Okay. And he's going to be heading back out towards the river.
okay. So it all sounds like y'all are like at least trying to like go the same direction. Um
Yeah, I'm
and
out by. I'd be closer to where the river is then.
yeah.
I'll stick with Faye and Jane in searching the cave network for a different part of the body.
Okay. Yeah, as you all are at least leaving this part of the path, I'm actually going to go ahead and use my villain point from James, because
No.
I haven't used it yet. And I'm gonna add a complication here. Because of this uncomfortable moving of what you assume to be part of this monster, um, you all notice that the temperature is getting even hotter. And the straight way back in which you are, at least the rest of you are trying to go to leave the cave mouth, um, is now starting to flow with some magma. Um, this is the complication called the floor is lava.
The
Um,
Holy
floor is
cow.
lava.
Mm.
Oh, I love this.
Joke's on you. I was excellent at that as a child.
I mean, like, you can try, but it's like it's blocking that way entirely. It's either somehow not being faced with you know a liquid death, or finding another way, I suppose.
I I think I have a question for you. I think now's the time for this. How wide is this lava flow?
I mean, it's um yeah. Well, y'all don't know how wide the actual wall was. I would say it's probably about the size of the footprint, somewhere between 10 to 12 feet.
Okay, is there in that 10 to 12 feet, is there anywhere that would be considerably safe to stand?
I mean, there are some stalagmites that are like kind of being bathed in this. You're not sure how like secure they're going to be or how long they're going to be secure, but like you technically could.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to be fast because I need to go find some plants to cool down this like creature. So I'm going to take some fronds off of Gerard. And so standing there, she goes like, "Oh, okay." And then she'll take Gerard. All right, Gerard, buddy, I'm gonna need some pieces of you, and I'm sorry for doing this. Gives it a little kiss, and then takes a couple pieces off, puts them back, and starts chewing the pieces of cilantro and just being like, ugh. God, I always hate the taste of this stuff. And she will teleport up to 10 feet onto one of those stalagmites and take more cilantro and eat it to make the rest of the way.
Yeah, yeah, do you want to share with the class what the meaning of this is?
Yes.
I feel like the stream needs to know.
Lulu's okay, so Lulu has two specialties. The first one being is she's really good at fixing out worn out clothing and things like that, worn out fabric, which is why she fixed Tien's glider. The second thing she has is that she can teleport up to 10 feet, but only while eating cilantro, which she absolutely hates because it tastes like soap. So, mind you, myself, it actually does taste like soap, but I do like cilantro anyways. I just always thought that's what it tasted like. But she does not like it, so that's why she carries around Gerard on occasions like this. So
Face
she'll get to the other side and just be like, it's so gross.
All right. Yeah, it's continuing to grow. So, with hurry, you can get out to the other side. But the rest of you are just kind of just stuck unless there's a way that you plan on getting past the
Oh.
magma or just going a different way.
So Tien, being kind of an idiot, he's kind of looking at this and thinking, and you see his eyes kind of drifting up towards the ceiling, and he's watching this, and since it's super hot at the bottom, that means all that air is being pushed up in a
Mm-hmm.
massive updraft.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks at the others, shrugs, runs back about 15, 20 feet, and then runs pell-mell just as fast as he can, jumps and pulls that lever to pop out his wings, and he's going to ride the thermals across the lava.
Oh my god, I love this.
Yeah, I kind of like
Yes.
Tien and Lulu. I think Tien and Lulu have got this down. We're just like, yeah, we got this.
Same
Movement.
same energy. Um Yeah, I do think, especially since like albeit it's repaired, it's still like not like completely whole. I think there needs to be a roll for gliding over this.
Yes,
Yeah,
especially.
for keeping this more like balanced and not going like too asymmetrical and really being able to navigate this, I'm gonna go with fine for this.
Fine. Okay. All right. That's a 5, 4 plus 1, so that's a 10 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you managed to navigate this without like, dipping too low or catching a wing on one of the stalactites up top. You managed to get through it. It's precarious as hell, but you're able to do it. And yeah, you just kind of match Lulu on the other side.
Good job,
Picture
buddy.
Lulu gets there first, and then he lands, and he just stops, and he like grabs Lulu by the shoulder, and he's just like, "That was the stupidest thing I've ever done."
You know what? It looks badass though.
True.
All right, let's get
And
to
then
you have the raft, right? You have the fold-up raft,
it's
right?
like it's like collapsed back, and it's like strapped to his chest.
Okay, good. Let's go. We gotta cool this thing down fast before the others are in trouble. So I guess we'll run outside.
Yes, he's running back to the river, and he immediately starts checking the bank and doing like little measurements and all this kind of stuff, and he's taking the raft out, and he's got it laid out, and it's not like attached pieces, it's more like kind of loose and stuff, and he's looking at that, and he's taking other things out of his backpack, and because this is synthesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope this works.
Okay.
Basically what I'm trying to do, oh, this is so stupid, between the pieces from the raft and whatever other things that I've got, I want to basically divert some of the water from the river so that it is coming down the tunnel to try to cool things off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to find.
You're trying to make a large fan.
Yeah.
cooling system.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual like move text
It
to
says it
read
would
what
be nice if
happened.
you had everything you needed, but sometimes you're missing that one crucial ingredient. Blah blah blah. You can always improvise. Explain how you do that. There, roll plus grit on a 10 plus. It just barely works. Gain an ace. 7 to 9. It falls apart at a critical point, but you manage to gain a supply.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll some grit.
All right. Ah, hold on. I lost the die.
Oh
Okay.
no.
The first one was a 6. The other one's someplace on the floor. I don't know where. And that's a 5. So that's an 11.
Hey,
Nice.
okay. So yeah, so it does just barely work. Yeah, describe how you do this.
So sorry, Wazzy. He completely disassembles this raft. um, Using like the like framework and stuff like that, and picturing like metal bars and stuff that would have been used to make the framework of this thing. He's using those to like basically dig like a culvert, kind of from the bank, so that the water can flow into that. Um, and using like the actual material from the raft, and probably a few other things he's got in there to like bridge any kind of like gaps and stuff like that, and kind of corral. So he's just got like this stream of water flowing from the bank into the tunnel they went down, and then down into the tunnel, which now it's going to hit the lava. But the whole idea was to get this colder water from the river diverted, not obviously not all of it, but a stream of it into the tunnel to help cool things down, and hopefully make it all the way to the critter to help cool it down. I want to give it a
Yeah.
bath.
I want to give it a bath, an ice bath, perhaps. I like this. I like this a bunch. Okay, well, yeah, it worked, and there's at least some water now going into there. Um, what are the rest of y'all doing? I know Lulu wanted to look for plants.
Yeah, medicinal plants. I was gonna sweet talk a plant.
We talk a plant.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, at least like more immediate to you, are those lily pads. But if you want to look around for other stuff that's like kind of like on the walls or whatever, you could.
Yeah, she's looking, like I said, for something. Well, I think now technically Tien is taking care of the fever aspect. So maybe the thing to look for then is if we're considering uh the shifting of the layers to be like the chills or something like that, then maybe that's the symptom I should be trying to help out with.
I
To
mean,
find
like
a plant that does that.
ultimately, like you don't even necessarily have to target symptoms. I like that y'all are staying in theme. At least mechanically, with once we get to the symbiosis phase, it's more using what you were able to get to help you in synthesis to like be able to take it down the control track and you guys up the control track to be able to cure.
Yeah. Just cause because my thing is like I've got when I chose with like my fine abilities is
Yeah,
apothecarology.
yeah.
So I will look for plants that are helpful in treating like the symptoms that we think are there. And it doesn't say I have to make a roll for it. It just says I have to bring a gift to the plant or otherwise do
Yeah.
right by it. So I think what I will do is I think in my pack I'll consider one of my supplies is like just some super nice little bag of fertilizer. And
Yeah,
so
that
I
sounds like
find the
something you would
plant.
keep anyway.
Yeah, I find the plant. It's just like a little tea bag of fertilizer kind of thing, and I'll just be like
It's that
buried
nice,
underneath at its
rich
roots.
soil.
Yeah, just be like, here you go, buddy. Like, thanks for helping me out, and I'll collect some of it.
I like this. I like this a lot. Um, which yeah, what kind of plant would you be going for? Is it more of like something with leaves? Is it more
I
mossy?
I think in the case of like fever reduction and things like that, typically a lot of the I think typically the homeopathic remedies are usually root based. So I think I'm gonna look for like roots. Like I find like a licorice kind of plant kind of thing and be like, hey buddy, I'm gonna take some of your roots, but here's some like fertilizer so you'll grow back even nicer than before.
Yeah, I think that's easy enough done because with any of these plants trying to like grow like more vertically on the wall, there's going to be some root exposure. So I think easy enough done. Um and yeah, almost one of the branches like you're not sure if it's just the wind or if it waves back at you. Um but there's a little motion there. But yeah, you were able to procure the root and
Nice.
gain something that helps.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, what are the rest of y'all doing down
You're
there
in a
in the
you're in a hot
cave?
cave. It's getting hot in here, so hot. So take off all your clothes.
Oh, but Lulu's not there to see Faye do that.
Meanwhile,
That's
Faye is
true.
Faye is wearing cargo shorts, so she like goes to the knee and unzips like the knee parts, turns them into cargo
Damn.
Not the
shorts.
zip pants.
I'm not
Oh,
around when she's at her hottest. I'm like, damn it. I've been
you're
seeing on
so
Faye when she's
efficient.
her hottest.
Okay.
Nothing's more hot than when Faye shows off those kneecaps. Them knees.
Yes, the pale knobby knees. Um,
Lula loves them.
but yeah, I would probably be looking for a tunnel that goes to like either, if not, it's not up, but probably like out, to try and find maybe where a more accessible tunnel is to our monster. Because if their skin is right up against the wall, we're not going to be able to treat them except in that one space.
True.
Jane is probably trying to mark their path so that Lulu and Tian can find them.
I was gonna do that too, but you beat me to it.
Y'all can do it together. There's like one like well, both of you are a little shorter, so it's just like two marks at
It's ju-
approximately a shorter
just-
height.
One is the yes mark and one's the no mark.
I had to like look
Don't
down.
go that way. Go this way. Oh my god, I love that. That's adorable. Okay.
You just see
Well,
the
as
one
you all
mark, and then under it, you just see like actually.
actually, this is the right way. Oh my gosh. Or like I could absolutely see at least one of you like leaving annotations next to these fossils for like what they are. Like so many nerds at this group. Any one of you would probably do that.
I can imagine
I
that,
love
yeah.
that. I love that so much. Okay, well, as you all are kind of trying to navigate these other tunnels, it doesn't have that same familiarity as the main path. But you'll manage, and through your markings, it's a very smart move. I'll give you a session ace for that, actually. So that takes you all for like 3, I think. Um, but yeah, surprisingly, in the distance, as you're just kind of continuing going through this system, a welcome sight greets you all. There is sunlight from outside peeking into the tunnel. Um, However, kind of in front of you, that way to the exit is unlike the rest of the labyrinth. It is um, just in terms of energy, in terms of appearance, it's very different. There are 2 distinct walkways that branch out, intertwine, and then branch out again several times in that pattern before becoming their own 2 sorts of exits. Between these separations are these like walls of volcanic glass that keeps those walkways apart when they're apart.
I mean, Jane, you've done splendid so far with the vibe thing. If you would.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna do much the same of what I've been doing. Just trying to get like how it's feeling. We haven't felt any
Yeah.
other like tremors or anything.
Um not like a huge one, like the one that you all
Mhm.
saw at the or experienced at the mouth of the cave, but now you're all kind of noticing that there's just kind of this consistent small little like tremor and shake, and it just doesn't really stop. It's just like a continuous shake.
I mean, big thing. This thing.
It's just a little dude. It's just
Just
a
a
little
little
baby.
dude.
guy.
Little guy.
It's just a little kaiju. Nothing to worry about.
Ooh. 6, 3, 9, 10.
Very nice. And rolling that 5, I'm gonna go back to the language of this move, just real fast. Yeah, and kind of becoming more one with this cavern system, these tunnels. And you're so much closer, like close enough to actually touch part of this creature. Um, you notice that this is maybe another time of like intense communication with this place. Um, you notice that the path to the left continues much like the path of the rest of the tunnel system began. There are footprints of other creatures and people that must have chosen this way at some point um, from all periods of this canyon's lifetime. Um, it exudes like kind of this safety and assuredness of all who have passed through it. Um, it's almost a path of preservation, if anything. Um, the path to the right doesn't show any of those signs, at least from any living beings. Instead, there's these parts of eroded rock and maybe some echoes of volcanic uplift that emit this sense of conviction that rival that of the coal anchor right outside. This feels more like a path of disruption.
I will let them know like what I'm feeling in the different directions, and that the tremors are more consistent now.
And being so close, it's something that I think all of you can kind of start feeling if you actually focus on it. It's like, oh, the world is moving. Oh no.
When Jane mentions erosion, is it like visible erosion in the right path?
It's visible, but it doesn't look like structural integrity threatening, though.
My question more is to look man-made.
No, this looks natural.
Okay. I mean, we can split up to see what we can find. It just Jane, what does it feel like might be closer to this actually getting to the heart of this?
I mean, I'm not really the smart one. I'm just the feeler.
Which I think is what we need right now, to be very honest.
I mean, above is like was very welcoming, and part of me knowing that there's something wrong is more pulled toward following the feeling of destruction, possible sickness. I think that might be the way to go than the direction of the more peaceful feeling. I'm hoping that's the right choice.
Darling, you're on this team for a reason, and I trust your judgment on this, so let's make haste. And
Mhm.
Faye just starts heading down that right path.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
guys are gonna leave indications, right? As you go along,
Yeah,
so I can
yeah,
follow
we've been.
you.
Yes.
Okay,
Wozzy
making
and
sure.
Jade have both been making annotations in the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Walking
That's
through
very
later
good.
with Tien, I'm like, why did they have to put yes and no? Why didn't you just put the yes?
I love this. This is very good.
Also, all of them are like at this level on these answers instead of up here, of course.
We tried to rank them as high as we could.
I know. God bless them. God bless those
Oh
short
my
kings.
It's like you'd think they would think about one person like riding on like the shoulders of the other so they can get to a person's height.
No, it's like God bless these short kings.
I love them. This is so good. Okay. So y'all are sticking on the right path then. All three of you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And you have multiple chances to switch if you want. It intertwines multiple times. But ultimately, I guess by the time you get towards the end, you do have to choose one or the other. Are you staying with the right?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Okay.
guess for just to hedge our bets, I guess I will go the left path. But can I use my my pack rat
Okay.
ability move? Can I get out like something to like signal the other path like I don't know like if like a whistle or something to just for each path to be like hey we found the the monster on this path come back and join us just
Okay.
like
Yeah. Like it. Like that a lot. So okay, so the other two of you are staying on the right then. So it's like 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Okay. Great. Um yeah, let's start with Wazi, actually. Um yeah, since you chose the path on the left, the path of preservation, if we did have to give a name to it, um, as you continue to walk towards the end, you're so close to that sunlight. You notice that with each of your steps, you are leaving footprints that are joining the predecessors in the stone itself. Upon leaving that tunnel into the blinding light, um, you get the feeling that there's just an intense nurturing that is that that essentially empowers you. Um, you now understand that this path really communicated the rain that nourishes the earth, the light and heat that makes plants grow, the wind that carries the birds aloft, and the soil that many things call home. Um, and you pop up right on the opposite side of the big bank. So it's like you're a little further downstream, but
Mhm.
you can see it from there. You see that now there's some water flowing into it for some reason. But yes, this understanding um, that was given to you. Go ahead and choose another symbiosis move.
Okay I need a second to double check but
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead and do that while I am getting the other two.
okay
Um, yeah, Jane and Faye, as you all take the right path or the path of disruption, if it had to have a name, um, once you all are hit with that same blinding light, you look back and the earth cracks beneath each of your previous footsteps. You exit the tunnel and that exit crumbles behind you. Um, that you get this understanding of change, of necessary change. The tidal waves that form rocky coasts, the volcanoes that can make islands, the tempests that guide lightning back to the ground, and the earthquakes that forge mountains. Um, two of you go ahead and gain a +1 in any one of your stats.
Oh.
Yay. I'm gonna take it in a lore because that's a 0. That's a -1 right now.
You got better.
I can talk so much better now.
So proud of you.
But yeah, so and then you just kind of pop up back now that there's essentially a wall of rubble behind you. You can't go back that way. But you're now a little upstream of the cave entrance. So if you look over, you can actually see Wazi like on the other side, a little ways away. But yeah, he's standing there on that opposite bank across the river.
Hello over there.
Well, I guess we didn't find the rest of the monster, but I mean, I feel like we learned something about the world we live in.
It does feel that way.
Definitely was a journey. Though I'm suggest we actually get back to our task at hand.
Mhm.
Okay. And Lulu and Tian, are you staying outside or have you gone back in already?
Well, I assume we were going back in because we have to get, reconnect with everybody.
Yeah, we went back in to
Mhm.
find people.
Now we're just all in a
Okay.
loop.
That's why we're like, wow, I don't know why they put yes and no on these walls.
Oh, don't worry. Because you're gonna be in the cave to see this, I guess. Because with the walking of these two paths, like not long after you all just kind of pop up on uh the opposite side, the rumbling of the earth starts to intensify again. Um, as those of you in the cave are acutely aware of this too, because it's definitely more pinpointed around there, and that is where there begins to be more crumbling and breaking off of stalactites. It's looking like this place is about to crumble down. Do you want to stay in there?
I don't think so. I think we want
Probably.
out.
I think we need to get the heck out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's easy enough done. 'Cause yeah, you probably didn't even get like that far in,
Put
honestly.
it back out.
Um,
Whoa, no, no,
yeah.
no. I hope they're okay.
Yeah, you see them on the opposite side. You don't really even get that much time to process that before um, the cave has collapsed completely. There's just rubble, and the pieces of this well constructed puzzle have now completely separated. As from this rubble breaks this giant creature. It is, um, I mean, you already saw the footprints, like, 10 to 12 foot long feet and almost as tall as like, easily past halfway of this canyon wall. It is giant. Um, it is a truly ancient being that has accrued the memories of many living beings over time. Um, as more lives are kind of compiled into this canyon's record, the more crowded it seems that her scales have grown with imprints, because it is just all over this creature's body. It has the body structure in many aspects of a Komodo dragon esque creature. Um, and almost always, except yeah, the scales are fossils and the claws are these amalgamations of different like ivories almost. Um, the long tongue, as most monitors have, snakes out and it's forked, and it is red hot as magma. And since she's kind of shown herself, you all can notice that there are deposits of this, these shiny false gold, just kind of in different places, and the scales that they're kind of like stuck between them. And she's angry. She's
Oh, honey.
not she's not feeling good, and she has woken up from her dormant slumber. This is the symbiosis phase, everybody. So welcome. Um, so how the symbiosis phase works, is that there are two control tracks. So, and they range from a D4 to a D12. Um, the adventurers, y'all unfortunately start on the D4 side, and the monster starts on the D12 side. Whoever has the higher die number at any point in time is the one with control. As you try to cure this creature or find ways to knock down the control track for her, you can use cure once you're in control, if that makes sense. So once you have the higher die number, you can use the cure move, which should be on the spreadsheet under symbiosis, and anybody can use that. Yep, it's there. Perfect. That's on the page 4. But yeah, I am going to go ahead and let y'all act first, since you did make preparations. What would you all like to do?
I think I would like to finally use my um signature equipment.
Okay.
Um so Jane is gonna pull out of her pack um this what just looks like an ordinary sack, but it's got a bunch of different like smelling salts and whatnot in it. Um and she's gonna start pulling out like uh lavender and bergamot, some patchouli, some peppermint, and like start putting them together to make this like soothing, relaxing, but also kind of like healing sense to try and calm the beast. It is very angry.
Okay. Yeah, let's see what kind of. So yeah, it does sound like you're trying to take it down the control track. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing y'all up it. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and yeah, this sounds like an allure roll. It really does.
That's what I was. And I'm rolling d4s, right? Because we're low.
It's the D6s and then plus that D4, I believe. Let me go back to the control because I've read this so many times and I was like, I'm confused. Yeah, it just has the segments on the rule. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's just add a D4.
I mean, that kind of makes sense for what I
Yeah,
think it was
exactly. It was
going
just like,
for.
because why else would it be like the dice? I don't.
11.
Okay.
No,
Then.
that's a lie.
Oop.
Because I just upped it to a +2 and not a +1. 12.
Oh, well, there you
Nice.
go. Okay. So yeah, we'll treat that as a moving it down. Let's go back to this page over here. Put you down to a D10. I am actually going to have the monster go next. And invoke one of its wounds. That the layers of the canyon are changing into patches of fossils with each quake. As it continues to erupt out of this cave mouth, and getting actually like more of its body out, you really do start to appreciate just how long this thing is. And as it's continuing to uh, try to be within this canyon, it is starting to have to step directly into the cobalt anchor and leave these like giant imprints, and it's making things unstable, for sure. The uh, area in which you all have to work is not the most stable at this point. Um, so yeah, and that has an active trait that adds 1 control. We're up to a D12. What are the rest of y'all doing?
Okay. So I do have my symbiosis move.
Yeah.
I have to ask if we can get a little bit creative with this
Okay.
because I have the move Crikey.
Uh-huh.
And like part of it is you exclaim an uncontained excitement and go to pick up a monster, which I don't think can happen here.
We
I
find
picked
out
this.
Faye is really has giant strength.
Oh
I
my
do
God.
not. Um, could I just go to try and hold it or like
Give it a hug.
essentially like hug it? More specifically, I think what I would do is like it'd be like, "Oh, you gorgeous creature," and like actually go to it and like try to like look at where like the false gold is coming out of and uh see if I can do anything with it
Okay. Tell you
because I
what.
can't pick it up, but I can
Yeah, you
like
can't
try
you
and
can't pick it up,
comfort
but
it.
like, yeah, or it's like honestly, like you could probably climb up this thing without it like noticing as
I have
long
a
as
background
you.
in bouldering.
Yeah, like I'll allow it. I think that's fine. Yeah, go ahead and roll plus allure on that.
Nope,
Okay,
there goes my girlfriend.
does that involve the D4 as well or not?
Yes.
Okay.
We're just gonna go with it. That sounds fun.
I needed that makes it an 11. It's
Okay.
kind of an 8.
All right. So, yeah, ask the guy for a piece of useful information about the monster's ability, demeanor, or habits. Gain +1 forward as long as you use that information. Um, yeah. As you're just kind of looking for more deposits on uh, various parts of its body. I mean, it doesn't seem
Mhm.
like it's necessarily a pattern. It just seems very randomized. But they're
And
there. You can see them. Um,
and thinking about the Pleagle, I'm trying to determine maybe if it's angry because it's hurt, or if it's like angry because it's trying to protect something, or if it's just angry because it was woken up.
Um, yeah, this is very much not establishing, exhibiting a behavior of this stuff is uncomfy. False gold is not a good thing to have on any living creature. Um, and that's probably like what is the root cause of all of these other symptoms. Um, but yeah, at least for the yeah, for that move. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do? Yeah, I'll reveal a little bit more about the wounds themselves. Because if you can inactivate one of those, it can really help you kind of moving forward. So I'll give that to you. Yeah, if you start taking these deposits off,
Mhm.
it is very likely that the wound causing that +1 control will stop.
So I
Um,
do want to remove the deposits, though.
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
those are false gold.
I was
Yeah.
making sure I understood that right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just like in the same way with the adult legal, it's like there are things that you see that
Mhm.
should not be there.
'Cause, yeah, I would start trying to like clear that out while I'm now apparently bull riding a giant monitor.
Hell yeah, crikey.
That's my girlfriend.
Yeah, what are the rest of y'all doing?
So
sorry,
climbing around on giant megafauna is like my whole thing, and I don't want to leave Faye up there alone. So yeah, I'm free climbing this thing to get up there and help Faye out.
She's having the time of her life.
Okay, is there anything specific you want to do once you're up there? Because like you have
I
like
mean,
climbing or something like
Bring
that, right? Like
water.
I do. Yeah, I have free
Yeah.
climbing and
yeah,
like,
so it's like I'm not gonna make you roll to get up there, but
Bring water.
um so seeing Faye like trying to clear the crystal and deposits and stuff like that. I still have piece of the boat frame, and I'm gonna start using that to like break away these chunks of crystal and false gold and stuff like that.
You're very green. You use every part of the raft.
yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely, every
yes.
part of this.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. That is what we're here
Exactly.
for.
It's
You
like
use every part
scraping
of the raft.
barnacles now. Just
Bozzy's like, wait, isn't that my raft? It
Oh my
was your
God.
raft.
Okay, I like that a bunch. Go ahead and roll force.
Does that include the +1 on my
Um,
advice?
I think it's for
Oh, just for
you
me.
specifically. Yeah, you gain a +1 forward if you use that information.
Okay.
didn't we get a +1 in the chat too?
Yeah.
I
Dog did
think you
give
did
us
at
a
some
+1.
point.
Oh yeah, from Steve.
Oh, Steve. I am bad about remembering.
So that's an 8.
Okay. Plus the track.
Oh, the track.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't roll the track. Ow. That's a 2 on the track, so that's a total of 10.
Okay. Well,
Yay.
that makes it better. I know. I'm looking back at this page and I'm like, why are they dice? I don't get it. I'm just looking at it and like, hmm. Oh, I think it might be the difficulty. Hold on. It may look like curing a wound is very hard, as you can't hit the 10 plus on anything
Yeah, I was
but
kind of
the
wondering if
D10
we're
or
supposed to be rolling
D12
two
section.
d4s.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
kind of wonder if
that's
we're supposed to be
right.
rolling
Yeah,
d4s
it's
instead of d6s.
yeah, I think you're right. It's like I just wish it would be like on
Clear
the
about it?
page,
Rule of
but it's not
cool.
on the page. It's not on the page.
Well, the
Um,
other guys could do something cool. The rest of us from now on have to roll on the thing, so
Yeah.
okay.
it's okay. They got to be cool for a little bit. Now it's
Now it's nitty-gritty time. Let's go with that. Yeah. Hey everybody watching stream. I'm not perfect at reading rules and I hope you're still enjoying stream. This is part of playing the game. Still learning how to do things. Mechanics can be hard sometimes. This is a
Welcome to
PSA.
actual plays.
Welcome to
Mhm.
actual plays.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's go with the D4s then. Because yeah, I think that's what that's actually supposed to be. Yeah, I just wish that would be on the page, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll still say that you're able to start chipping away at that and take them back down to a D10 on the control track. Okay. Yeah, what are the rest of y'all doing?
Wazzy, if you want to go first on this.
Sure. How much supply do we have currently? Because the symbiosis move I just picked up requires 5 supply.
I think we're up to 6.
Yeah, because I don't know if we've used any throughout the game so far.
We ended up using 1. We lost 1.
We lost one.
Okay.
We lost 1, but then we gained it back because then we got 3. So yeah, I think we're at 6.
Okay. Is everyone cool if I use 5 of those 6 supply for my move? All right.
I'll take them off.
So I'm going to use the symbiosis move. Look what I got.
Ooh, nice.
When things are looking bleak and the monster is raging from its wounds, you can produce just the right thing to get a little more time. Spend 5 supply and describe what it is you have that will temporarily quell the monster's anger. So my goal basically is to get something out that can help me remove the false gold that's stuck on the monster, whether that's like I need to like chip it off or if I can like scrub it off somehow. Just something that can help me remove any deposits I can get at quickly.
Yeah, something abrasive. Yeah, I think you could procure that.
Alright.
You might have to get a little creative, but yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm imagining like I pull out like I don't know some kind of like big scrub brush or something. I run up and I'm just like furiously like scrubbing the, the
It's a
false
large
gold.
it's a large novelty toothbrush.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Yes.
Got it from the same like tourist shack that the
Mhm.
map came from. Oh, who knows? We might need it.
Mhm.
It's a kaiju brand toothbrush.
Right.
You all thought I was crazy. Well, look who's laughing now.
Yeah.
None of us said you were crazy. We just said that, it's a lot to carry.
That's why it folds up.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't
I
know who
on-
thought to make it fold up, but I
I
guess good
on-
on them.
Wazzy only buys collapsible products.
Everything is collapsible.
If it's not collapsible, I don't want it.
It's a collapsible mug.
Yeah.
Maximum space efficiency.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Should be
Listen, how else can
collapsible.
you be a pack rat? Yeah, that sounds like you're creating an advantage for the group. That sounds like kind of moving up the control track.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go with that. I'll move y'all up to a d6.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. What else y'all doing?
I guess it's up to me now. I went and got the plants to help with like dealing with that, but I guess that's during the curing phase, right? So-
Yeah.
Okay. So can't use that. What can I do that's actually useful at the moment? You know what? I have one of my things is I specialize in methodical investigation. So maybe this is a I guess a control action for us, like getting more control on us or something like that. Is I would like to maybe pinpoint like an area that's like kind of like pressing to work with right now. Like directing the giant toothbrush to the right spot.
Okay.
So right, that would be my grit, I guess. And that is an 11.
With the 2d4s?
Oh, I
We're
thought
at
we moved up to
we're
D6.
at D6s
Yeah.
now. We just moved up.
Well, I don't think you roll the die that's on the track. I think that's like the difficulty level because like needing the 10 plus for like the D10 and D12
Oh, okay.
levels of the track. I know it's confusing. It's honestly confusing.
Well, I got 9 then.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I guess we don't get to roll that die until we surpass the monster. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like honestly, and don't forget that you all do have session aces. Like that's the big point of like collecting those things during the other two phases is to help you in this phase.
Well,
So
I got a
if
9, so I'll take that. I think that's pretty okay.
okay.
I'll save
All right.
I'll save the aces for when we really need them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's the difficulty. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that is above that, so that'll take you up to the D8. And at this point, I'll have the monster go, actually. Um, now that you all are kind of more physically touching it and like actively like kind of around it, it has taken more notice of you, and it's still big mad. It still doesn't really like what's going on. And that's I'm going to invoke its other wound, that all nearby water is beginning to boil. um that yeah, being around this place and even on it, it is scorching hot. And as it kind of turns its head and is looking at all of you, its monitor like tongue that is still just red hot is starting to lash out at the rest of you. um you all are managing to avoid it and not get actively harmed, but it's making the process of scrubbing this thing harder. So I am going to knock you guys down one.
Oh no, it's melting the plastic bristles of the giant novelty
No.
toothbrush.
This was all I had left.
Okay. Falls back in y'all's court.
Okay. I guess I'll do something again then. Let's see. Sorry. The thing would be to try to knock down its control or up our control. Let's see. I think I'll try to knock down its control. I think possibly I'm going to try to. I guess I'm gonna distract it from the rest of the group.
Okay. How are you planning to do that?
You know what? It's really, really large, and this is not going to hurt it that much, but just enough to annoy it. My signature item is gardening shears, so I'm just gonna like poke at it a little bit.
Oh my god,
I
are you
mean,
doing like all I'm imagining is if you've ever seen a neurological exam done on a dog, part of it is doing like a nasal probe, and you just take some hemostats or clothes and you just kind of like put it up their nose. They hate that. And it's
yeah,
like, and if there is no reaction, there's usually a problem.
yeah. So
Fun
I'm not gonna
facts.
really like. It's really large, and so I'm not gonna really hurt it with this action. I'm just trying to
It's
basically make it go, "What? No, why?
it's like, stop that. What are you doing?
Stop that!"
No.
So,
Yeah. This feels like an allure or anything, like, because you're really just trying to garner all of its attention.
okay. That is 7. I
Okay.
think if people are okay, I would like to use a session ace. Just I want to really make sure this sticks. Everyone cool with that?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, so I have 2 left. Oh nice. That is I can math. That's an 11.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, you're managing to take its focus away. It was just about to turn its head towards those the two that are on her back right now. Like about to lash out with that molten tongue, and you are able to just kind of poke it, and it just diverts its attention right back to you. Doesn't mean the focus is on you, but that's gonna knock control down by 1 to a d8.
We can use any
Uh,
of the
and
moves.
yeah, not that y'all knew this, but I think this is part of it. I did put as the passive for all nearby waters beginning to boil. To neutralize was to spend an ace, so you spent an ace. Good job. So that actually takes that one out. So uh yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. No. That takes out that ability. Great. Okay. Cool.
We're
The
allowed to
wound
use.
is still there because the wound hasn't been cured, but it can't
Mhm.
like continue to um to use that, I suppose.
We're allowed to use like any of the symbiosis context moves, right?
You mean the ones that everyone can use? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just making sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Jane, where are you at all of this really quick?
I am near its front.
Because what I would like to do is use the we go on 3, and Jane, who is experienced in acupuncture,
Yes.
I
I
Um,
am.
I mean, there's 2 of us on her back. If I throw my walking stick down to you, can you like maybe find the pressure point that will calm it down?
I can actually. Yes.
In that case, you and everyone who agrees to this plan, which I think would be Faye, Jane, and I don't know if Tien would want to help with this or not.
mean, I do
Maybe.
have this piece of framework that I could toss to Jane as well.
You know
Or-
what?
yeah.
Where?
Tell us where to put it.
Yeah, I will actually probably guide them because where I am not on the monster. But I guide them to where, giving its structure and the type of reptile it is, where the best place to apply pressure.
Well, can we make it sit down in the water?
We just hit that one spot in its back that just like makes it go limp.
To like
Forcibly set.
release the chemicals that it needs to not feel as much pain, or endorphins. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, and release the endorphins. Maybe the serotonin as well. Yeah, if we all agree to this plan, and maybe if everyone else wants to help poke the monster the right place, we get to roll plus that stat.
I mean, yeah, I'll help if there's a way for me to. Can I use my novelty toothbrush as some kind of acupuncture?
Wait, hold on.
Gotta hit that pressure
Everybody
point.
has a poking thing, but the person who's telling you where to poke.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my shears on me that I just poked it with, so I guess if I'm near a pressure point.
Are we allowed to do this?
I like the creativity, so I'm gonna roll with coolest. Like y'all are working together. I will just say that like since y'all are actively doing this together, y'all can't take the individual turns for the rest of this round. The monster will just
right.
go next. I
Okay.
think that's fair.
That's fair.
Okay, go.
I think
So
that's
what are
we
we-
all roll.
Just to clarify, what are we actually rolling?
Yeah, what are we?
Well,
What-
rolling?
let's